There's an overwhelming passion as I stand right before you. They will never understand the type of love I got for you. Perpetually praise you from the womb to the soil. I got haters because I choose to enjoy you. Figure that people using you the most, treating you like a genie. You delivered us from Egypt. They must thought it was easy, but they ain't got the nerve to check me for my fringes and ZZs. You don't love them, then your spirit's beneath me. Because I'm riding you the most high, but they been rejecting sincerity. One-on-one conversations got me feeling like Daniel. This is not fake. I treat them like a friend or companion. So don't you ever try to check my expansion. This is real. Shed a tear in the studio whenever I write. I'm in this essence, feel this presence like I'm holding a light. Never second guessing all the missions that he chose for my life. This is evidence, remember this. We both for what's right. Me and him, we personal. What please you, I thirst, no. If enemies, I'm personal. They try you on personal. I but you so merciful. You use me so purposeful. Cut so deep it's surgical. You got my spirit vertical, I promise.
This is crazy, dude. This is crazy.
Firstborn, that may be your firstborn. The most I said exposed was
Shalom,
firstborn, y'all made me a firstborn. The most I said exposed was underneath, just like my shirt torn. Blessed as long as a church song gave me purpose to work on. And that was all way before the earth formed. Just listen. All praise the Most High, the Father that made us. I remember when I was 5, I said to speak for the mayor. We been blessed, so I can't let no enemy play us. We gon' shine in one direction like lasers. Our time is now. And we don't really got time for later. That's a candy bar. Our ancestors blessed in his favor. Go to war with demons, still ducking, dodging the Satan. Not just hit a nerve like a sensation. You feel me? No pun intended. Thought that my life was ended. Disease, it struck my kidney, but the Most High was with me. How can I not give him his praise? They see the Father in me. Enemies try to end me. My friends don't really get me. That's why my heart be windy. Fake friends, I got too many. What do you got to lend me? Your spiritual pocket's empty. If you do not know my struggle, do not envy it all. Because when your friends turn their back, tell me, who do you call?
The Most High.
Chasing wealth got your relationships damaged. Got you reaching for the bread like you making a sandwich. I study generation and I promise this one's a challenge. They rather stand before they keep the commandments. Damn. No cap, we need to pray for this planet. We at the end and their spirits abandoned. The evil taking advantage. Meanwhile they cover wounds like a bandage. They taking chips, put your hands on the scandal. Then I remember shootouts, some Memorial Drive, repenting every single day because my stories be wild. Shouts out to every single scripture that helped through all my trials. I know the Most High been with me since a child. Can you relate?
Shabbat Shalom, Facebook fam. Shabbat Shalom to all my peoples on YouTube. Shabbat Shalom, better day.
Shabbat Shalom.
We apologize for those who are coming back on with us. We had some technical difficulties, things that we couldn't foresee, but we're back, ready to do the Most High's will. We're going to go ahead and dive straight into the Q&A for those who may come on and see this video. This is a special Shabbat Q&A where we're giving people an opportunity to come on and ask questions concerning your own personal journey. We just ask that you limit those questions to not attacking someone else's belief, not coming at someone else's doctrine, but limit it to strictly to your desire to be a better son or daughter for the Most High. Today's foundation is going to be found in Psalms 119. And we're going to start at verse 65, then we're going to go back to Psalms 111. Psalms 119. We're going to start at verse 65. And then we're going to go back to Psalms 111. I got you. I'll send it to you after after we done with the broadcast. And I didn't forget your question that you put in too in the last video. We'll start with that one. Psalms 119. Let's start at verse 65.
Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Ahiah, according to thy word. Teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed thy commandments.
Now notice here that he's saying, teach me what?
Teach me good judgment and knowledge.
Why?
For I have believed thy commandments.
For I have believed thy commandments. Now we talked about the other day, the fact of the matter that people have to understand in order to get the wisdom of the Most High, you got to be doing right in the eyes of the Most High. Hold that, get Sabbath, the first chapter, as a precept for that verse right there. Because people want to get knowledge, they want to get wisdom from the Most High, but they don't want to do what the Most High say. And you can't expect the Most High to bless you with extra stuff if you're not doing what he say, huh? Psalms 119, Sirach 1, excuse me, Salakia. And let's get verse 26 there.
If thou desire wisdom,
If thou desire wisdom,
keep the commandments.
do what?
Keep the commandments.
Don't do the commandments.
Keep the commandments.
Keep the commandments.
And the Most High will give her unto thee.
Y'all see that? So if you got, this is what we're talking about today. This is the Sabbath Q&A, where people are seeking wisdom. In a time of uncertainty, you want to know what's going on. Well, in order to get this wisdom, in order to get this understanding, in order to have this insight, you must keep the commandments. You must be standing in obedience to the Most High in order for him to give it to you, because if you're not in good standing, you're going to be out here lost, huh? So let's go back to Psalms 119 and read that verse 66 again.
Teach me good judgment and knowledge.
Teach me good judgment and knowledge.
For I have believed thy commandments.
For I have believed thy commandments. Go ahead.
Before I was afflicted, I would have strayed. But now I have kept thy word.
Because before I was afflicted, I was going through problems, and I went away. But what now? He said, what?
But now I have kept thy word.
But now I have kept thy word. Go ahead.
Thou art good.
Thou art good.
And doest good.
And doest good.
Teach me thy statutes.
Teach me thy statutes. Hallelujah. Now let's go down to Psalm. Let's go down to verse 103. Go ahead.
How sweet are thy words unto my taste. Yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth.
Go ahead.
Through thy precepts.
Through thy what?
Through thy precepts.
Through thy precepts.
I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way.
The reason, ladies and gentlemen, is that people are living the false way outside of the way of the Most High is because they don't know his precepts. They don't know what he's talking about. The Bible tells us in Isaiah 28, whom shall he teach knowledge? Whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Those are what? Weaned from the milk and no longer drawn from their breast, because precept must be upon precept. But most people can take a verse out of the middle of a chapter, establish a belief system on it, and just run with it. You can't do that. The Bible proves the Bible. So if you got a Bible verse and you read that and you have this interpretation of it, and then there's a verse over here that contradicts that interpretation, something's wrong. Y'all out the other night, believe it or not, I was listening to a guy who said that we ain't supposed to be teaching the commandments. My hand to the Most High. Call himself an Israelite and said we just supposed to teach kingdom. We ain't supposed to teach the commandments. What? We ain't supposed to teach the commandments. And Deuteronomy 4, verse 8, he tells us, teach thy son's sons. Matthew 5 and 19 says, he said, but those who keep the commandments and teach the commandments shall be shall be great in the kingdom. That's just 2 of them. That's just 2 precepts. But if I didn't know those precepts, and he tell me that, and especially if I'm following the religion of Christianity, that's going to be music to my ears. I just got to teach kingdom. Don't worry about the commandments. Boy, no way, boy. Watch this. Verse 104. Psalm 105.
Thy word is a lamp unto my feet.
See, thy word is a what? Lamp unto my feet.
And a light unto my path.
And a light unto my path. In this dark world, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't have the Most High's word, we will be walking in pure darkness. Huh? Now let's go back to Psalms 111. And your aunt Philip, I know what your question was, but I want you to put it back in the chat if you don't mind, because I want to make sure that those who may come on and watch this video afterwards be fully edified by answering exactly what by us answering exactly the question that you that proposed. Psalms 111. And let's start there, verse 1.
Praise ye the Most High.
Praise ye the Most High.
I will praise the Most High with my whole heart. In the assembly of the upright.
Right.
And in the congregation.
Go ahead.
The work of the Most High are great.
The what?
The work of the Most High are great.
Are great.
Sought out of all them that have pleasure therein.
Look at that, what he said. He said it's sought out, like you're going for it. You desire it. By who? Who is seeking it thee?
Out of all them that have pleasure therein.
Mm-hmm.
His work is honorable and glorious.
Right.
His righteousness endureth forever.
Go ahead.
He has made his wonderful work to be remembered.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High is gracious and full of
And
compassion.
full of compassion. Go ahead.
He has given meat unto them that fear him.
Mm-hmm.
He will ever be mindful of his covenant.
He will ever be mindful of his covenant, which means, ladies and gentlemen, without us being mindful of the covenant and those precepts, we won't be able to fully take advantage of the covenant that the Most High has for us. We understand that the Bible tells us in 1 Timothy 2 and 5 that Yahshua is what? The mediator of that covenant, which means you got to go through him. And if he ain't going to go to the Father on your behalf, if you're not doing what he has already told us to do, huh? Watch this. Verse 6.
He has showed his people the power of his works.
Right.
That he may give them the heritage of the heathen.
That he may do what?
Give them the heritage of the heathen.
And he may give us the heritage of the heathen. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for who? For the just. Y'all out here talking about reparations. Boy, y'all, hey, you must not have heard. You want a check? I want the bank. I'm waiting on the bank. Y'all waiting on the check. Come on. Come on now. Y'all mind is getting too, you're thinking too small here. Watch this. Verse, what we at? Verse 107, verse 7.
The work of his hands are verity and judgment.
Mm-hmm.
All his commandments are sure.
Go ahead.
They stand fast forever.
For how long?
Forever and ever.
Go ahead.
And are done in truth and uprightness.
Right.
He sent redemption unto his people.
He sent redemption to who?
He sent redemption unto his people.
No, for God so loved the world.
He sent redemption unto his people.
Go ahead.
He has commanded his covenant forever.
Mm-hmm.
Holy and reverent is his name.
Mm-hmm. And what's his name? What's his name? All right, go ahead.
The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom.
Is the what?
Is the beginning of wisdom.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Says the fear, that means reverence and in awe of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. Meaning, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care how much degrees you have, how many books you've read, how many maps you got, all research, how many languages you speak. If you don't fear the Most High, you don't have wisdom. You don't have anything. It is the beginning. That's how you begin to get wisdom. It has to start with that. Con, go ahead.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
Whoa. So how in the world have we deemed all these people in the world so intelligent and they ain't keeping the commandments? What scale are we measuring on? Read that again, Deacon. He says what?
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
Uh-huh.
His praise endure forever.
His praise endure forever. Hallelujah. All right. Now, as I said, we have some wonderful questions already submitted. One of the oxen put a question in the chat, so we're going to dive into his questions first. First question for this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, reads as follows. It says in Numbers 15-38, do we still have to put fringes on the borders of and borders of blue throughout our generation? Very, very popular question. So in essence, what he's asking is, right now up under the new covenant, do we have to continue to wear fringes and zizis? Let's go get a read of that for those who are not aware of what Numbers 15-38 says, and then we'll address it. Start at verse 37 first. Bring it out.
And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel.
He said, speak to who?
Unto the children of Israel.
He said, speak to the Christians.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
Speak unto the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments,
right,
throughout their generation. And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
Right.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Most High.
Why is the fringe on it?
And remember all the commandments of the Most High.
So that we remember all the commandments of the Most High. Go ahead.
And do them.
We remember them and do what?
And do them.
And do them. Not just knowing them, quoting them, but what? Do them. Go ahead.
And that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go whoring.
See that? So the Most High commanded the children of Israel to wear fringe with the border of blue, to remember and to keep the commandments. In the same way, it's kind of symbolic to how he circumcised the men as a sign for us as Israelites who stood out from the rest of the heathens, the rest of the Gentiles. So we can remember the covenant and the relationship we have with the Most High. So that was the purpose of the fringe. Now, let's go to Hebrews, the 8th chapter. Let's go to Hebrews, the 8th chapter. I'm like an old man. Hebrews, the 8th chapter, and let's start at verse 8.
For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Most High, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
He made the covenant with the Christian church.
A new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Go ahead.
Not according to the covenant that I made with them that with their fathers.
So we know right here that he's not talking about the old covenant. This is the new covenant. So regardless of what they teach you in the religion of Christianity, the new covenant is still with the children of Israel. It's not with no Christian church. You understand? Go ahead.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Most High. But this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Most High. I will put my laws into their mouth.
Now, he has put what? The laws into our minds.
And write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a Yah, and they shall be to me a people.
So before, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't have the law in our minds. We didn't have the law written on the table of our hearts. We have that now because of what? The Ruach of the Holy Spirit. So under the new covenant, fringes is no longer a commandment. But D, do you have fringes on? You got zigzags? Fringes, zigzags, fringes. We wear it because it's our culture. And this is what the Most High told us to do, but it's not a commandment. Okay? So if you are a person who says, well, I don't want to wear fringes, I don't see the necessity in wearing fringes, then you're not off. But as for us and for many of our brothers and sisters, we deem the fringe as part of our culture. This is how we dress, because this is how we dressed before we went through colonization and through captivity. So this is not something where, people should be attacking you or condemning you or isolating you because you don't. But this is our heritage and our culture. So we continue to rock the fringes. Con? So that's a good question. We get that question quite often. And I know that some Israelites, some guys probably, condemn a person that don't wear fringes or whatever the case may be, and they make it like it's a law, and it's not. It's not.
Hey, well, I got a question.
Okay.
He said I will put my law in their heart and their minds, and that is part of the law, or was the law.
Mm-hmm.
Would that not still make it for me to do it?
Well, that's a good question. And the question that I asked was, if this was the fringe was part of the law, does that mean that we should do it? Now, let's go to Romans 8 and address that. The reason why that doesn't make that is because of the fact that the fringe, the total purpose of the fringe was to remind us of the law. You understand? That was the total purpose of it. Get to Romans 8. And watch this. And go to verse 3.
For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh.
Because our flesh didn't have the ability and does not have the ability to keep the law. Go ahead.
The Most High, sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh.
Go ahead.
That the righteousness of the law
might be fulfilled.
Who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
So when you're following the Ruach is what gives us the ability to keep the law down. It's written on our hearts, it's written on our minds, and that's how we keep the law down. So you don't need necessary reminder, because the Ruach is going to constantly remind you of the law. How do we know that? Go down to verse, let's see. Go down to verse 11.
But if the spirit of him that raised up Yeshua from the dead dwell in you, he that raiseth up Hamashiach from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwelleth in you.
So now it's quickening your mortal bodies. It's causing you, it's not forcing you, but it's suggesting to you, it's assisting in you of doing it right in the eyes of the Most High. Then go down to verse 16.
The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit.
The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit
that we are the children of the Most High.
And we are the children of the Most High. So the Ruach is going to constantly remind you of who you are. It's going to, and remember, hold on, let me give you another one then. Let's go to John 16. Go to John 16. verse 13. So,
Howbeit, when she, the Holy Spirit of truth, is come, she will guide you into all truth.
it's guide you to all truth, and we know truth is what? Psalms 119, verse 142 says what? Thy law is what? Truth. Go ahead.
For she shall not speak of herself, but whatsoever she shall hear, that shall she speak. She will show you all things to come.
Go ahead.
She shall glorify me.
She shall glorify you, Yahshua. Go ahead.
For she shall receive of mine and show it unto you.
And show it unto you. So that ruach now is what empowers us. It what assists us. It what keeps us to keeping the law. Huh? Good questions. Good questions. This is what we wanted to do. Engaging. This is what we wanted. So for those that are watching right now, put this out here. If you would like to, if you have a question, you would like to remain anonymous. For those who are on Facebook, you can send me a message on Messenger, and we'll ask the question and we won't reveal your name. If those who are watching on YouTube and you want to ask a question, but you want to remain anonymous, you can hit me up at lavenderingham@gmail.com, and we will answer those questions in the order in which they came. All right? Now, first question that's been submitted. It says, recently purchased an apocrypha. Is it true that it was once part of the Bible? Is it true that it prophesied the coming of Christ? We'll read that question again. It says, I recently purchased an apocrypha. Is it true that it once was part of the Bible? Is it true that it prophesies the coming of Christ? Now, for those who don't know what an apocrypha is, this little red book that we have, and up until 1878, it was a part of the Bible. 1878, yes. I know that may be shocking for many of you, but yes, up until 1878, it was part of the Bible. And the Protestants decided, which the Protestants were Romans, not Israelites, right? But they decided that the Apocrypha was not spiritually inspired. It didn't belong with the Bible. Okay. Now, we can go deeper to that when we want. That's just funny in itself. But one quick way we like to show people that to prove that it was once part of the Bible, let's go to the book of Esther. Now, and for those who don't have an Apocrypha, go to if you have a separate laptop, phone, or tablet, go to Google, type in the editions of Esther, chapter 10. Watch this. And this is one of the ways we prove that the Apocrypha was once part of the Bible. The rest of us, it's funny. You just start there, just it. Just the rest of us. That's what it says. All right. Boy, no way, boy. All right. So we see here that in the book of Esther, you hear in the Bible, you have 10 chapters. And in the 10th chapter, it ends off on the 3rd verse. Now, D, read Esther 10, verse 3.
For Mordecai the Jew was next unto the king of Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews.
And great among who?
Great among the Jews. And accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace to all his seed.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's go into your apocryphas, and let's see what you find here. It's called the rest of the chapters of the book of Esther. Now, notice here, ladies and gentlemen, what verse it starts at. Verse 4. Start there.
Then Mordecai said, the Most High has done these things.
Right.
For I remembered a dream which I saw concerning these matters, and nothing thereof has failed.
So it just continues right on. So how in the world it was just taken out, and you're seeing right here in a separate book, the book that's in the Bible just continues on as if it was already there. Okay? But that's one of the ways you know that this right here, you can prove to those who may not believe you that this was part of the Bible. Now, you will hear other Christian pastors say, well, the Apocrypha, it doesn't talk about Christ. That's what they tell you. So they say that means it's not spiritually inspired. Let's go to 2nd Esdras, the 2nd chapter. For those who don't have an Apocrypha, if you have a separate laptop, phone, or tablet, you can go to Google, put in the number 2, ESDRAS, chapter 2. Let's see if it talks about Christ or who the world knows to be Christ. See if we can find it in. Second Esdras, chapter 2. Then start at verse 42.
I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number.
Mm-hmm.
And they all praised the Most High.
They all did what?
Praised the Most High with song.
Uh-huh.
And in the midst of them was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And upon every one of their heads he set crowns.
He did what?
Upon every one of their heads he set crowns.
He set crowns.
And was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly.
Uh-huh.
So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these?
Mm-hmm.
And he answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing,
right,
and put on the immortal,
mm-hmm,
and have confessed the name of the Most High.
They did what?
Confessed the name of the Most High.
Uh-huh.
And now they are crowned and receive palms.
They receive what?
Receive palms.
Now I want y'all to remember that. He said they received palms and they put crowns upon their head. Watch this. Go ahead.
Then said I unto the angel, What young person is that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands?
Mm-hmm.
So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High.
It is who?
It is the Son of the Most High.
It is who?
The Son of the Most High.
Uh-huh.
Whom they have confessed in the world.
Uh-huh.
Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Most High.
Y'all see that? Prophesied in 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha. Now, watch this. I'm going to take you to something you've seen before, and it's going to say the same thing. Go to Revelation 7. Watch this. Yeah, so. Let's go to Revelation 7. Watch this. Now remember exactly what we just read, right? John saw the same exact thing. Revelation 7, let's start at verse 9.
After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude.
A great multitude.
Which no man could number.
Uh-huh.
Of all the nations and kindreds and people. And tongues stood before the throne and before the Lamb.
Before the who?
Before the Lamb.
And who was the Lamb? Josiah, right? Go ahead.
Clothed with white robes.
Clothed with white robes.
And palms in their hands.
What do they have in their hand?
And palms in their hands.
What do they have in their hand?
And palms in their hands.
Go ahead.
And cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our Yah, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And all the angels stood round about the throne, and about the elders and the 4 beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces, and worshipped the Most High.
They did what?
Worshipped the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
saying, Amen. blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our Yah forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Y'all see that? Same thing. But they tell you it's not spiritually inspired. All right. Now, let me go down to that second part. So I'm in Greensboro. Do y'all have a camera congregation here? I'm looking to build with some brothers locally. Brother, we have assemblies that we fellowship with all over North Carolina. So what I would do is I'm going to reach out to you afterwards. Send me your put your Gmail, your email account, your email in the chat if you don't mind, or send me an email at levantingam@gmail.com. And what I do is I reach out to you probably, and we can give a call. I'm gonna send you that song that you asked about, and I'm gonna tell you all about all the different people that we fellowship with all across North Carolina. We got plenty of people in that area, and actually we ourselves gonna be in Greensboro next week fellowshipping with some of the brethren up there next Shabbat. So yeah, we definitely can do that. No problem. So let's go. We had another question answered live. So let's address that. He says, I know the adoption, the glory, and the covenant, the law, the service of Yah, and the promise are for the Israelites. That's Romans 9:4. But the other nations, do we teach them now or after the kingdom have been restored to us? All right. That's real clear. That's our mission statement. That's real clear. Let's go to Isaiah 49:6. Boy, I don't know if you realize you asked the question is totally in the spirit today. Totally in the spirit. Well, the answer to your question is yes. We're supposed to teach the Gentiles. We're supposed to teach all nations, all those who desire to learn. You know, this whole idea that, it's just about Israel, that's madness. And the way I try to tell our Israelite brothers is how we know that this is madness, because we come from the line of Shem. Noah, Shem, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. But if the Most High was only interested in Israel, why did he put Ham and Japheth on the boat as well? Okay? Matter of fact, get Isaiah 49:6 and then hold that and get Deuteronomy 4. Look at it, in the spirit. Watch this. Isaiah 49:6. This is our mission statement.
And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob.
To raise up the tribes of Jacob.
And to restore the preserved of Israel.
And to restore the preserved of Israel. Now, this right here is the true ministry of Hamashiach, who the world ought to be Christ. Read that again, what he said he was supposed to do. Do what?
To raise up the tribes of Jacob.
We are supposed to be raising up the tribes of Jacob.
And to restore the preserved of Israel.
And to restore the preserved of Israel. But then he also told us to do what?
I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
I will also give thee for a what?
Light to the Gentiles.
A light unto the Gentiles.
That thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
To who?
Unto the end of the earth.
Just the Israelites.
Unto the end of the earth.
Until the end of the earth. Now, before you go to Deuteronomy 4, just in case any Israelites come across and say, no, what you talking about? I'm going to do me. Give them what Matthew 12:30 says. So that Isaiah 49:6 is the true ministry of Hamashiach. Matthew 12:30 says what?
He that is not with me is against
me. So that means if you're not with Isaiah 49:6, you are against Hamashiach. That's not my words. That's what he said. Read it again.
He that is not with me is against me.
Go ahead.
And he that scattereth not with me.
So anybody that's preaching another doctrine, go ahead.
Scattereth abroad.
You scattering the people. It's your choice. You can continue to be angry, or you can get in love and teach this truth. Okay? Now let's go to Deuteronomy 4. Put Moses on that. Let's go straight to the law. Watch this. I'll tell you this is what it was. I'll tell you what I tell you it was. What I tell you it was. I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 4. You ain't learned yet, bro. Put a rapping and clapping, add with your wings. But that's my soul clapping, I'm clapping with wings. Come on, man. Deuteronomy 4, verse 5.
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments.
He said what?
I have taught you statutes and judgments.
Right.
Even as the Most High my Yah commanded me that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Go ahead.
Keep therefore and do them.
He said what?
Keep therefore and do them.
Keep therefore and do them.
For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
No, it's a wisdom and understanding in the sight of your brothers.
In the sight of the nations.
No, it's for your family.
In the sight of the nations.
In the sight of the Gentiles. And when you keep these laws and do this in the front of the Gentiles, what are they going to say?
We shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is wise and understanding.
Sure, this is a wise and understanding people.
But what nation is there so great? Who is the Most High so nigh unto them?
You see that? Because they're going to know by how you live, by how you operate. Oh, you got the Most High for sure. It ain't going to be your fringes. It's going to be how you live it. It's going to be the fact when Christmas come up, you ain't know where to be found. You don't have nothing to do with it. You keeping Hanukkah, you keeping feast dedication. You ain't got nothing to do with Easter, but you celebrated Passover. When December 31st came, it was another night to you. It wasn't a new year to you. But when spring came in, you would say, Happy New Year. They were like, hey, surely these people are wise to understand people. Go ahead.
But what nation is there so great, who is the Most High so nigh unto them? As the Most High our Yah is in all things that we call upon him for. And what nation is there so great? That they are so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as in all this law.
See that? They're gonna be the laws of meta. Okay. It's gonna be the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. That's gonna make the Gentiles come. But they're not gonna be saying Black Lives Matter. They're gonna be saying Israelite Lives Matter. Nobody's gonna be talking about that. Okay, let's bring that out there. God said there's also in the law that we're not supposed to hate Esau. Give me Deuteronomy 23:7, right? Yeah, that's in there. Deuteronomy 23:7. Watch this. For anyone who says the white man's the devil, that's your doctrine, you hate Gentiles, let's get Deuteronomy 23:7. This is the law of the Most High. Hold up, is that ain't the book of the family, is it? Is that the book of better day? Okay, all right. Chapter verse, D.
Deuteronomy 23, verse 7.
Now, y'all law keepers, right? They say they keep the law. Let's see what the law says.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite.
Thou shalt hate the white man.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite.
Thou shalt call the white man the devil.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite.
Thou shalt not have nothing good to do anything for Gentiles.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite.
Go ahead.
But he is thy brother.
He is what?
He is thy brother.
No, man, he's the devil.
He is thy brother.
He is thy brother. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land.
Y'all see that? This is the law, but these dudes say they're keeping the law. Are y'all seeing this? All right. So let's go back to another question that's submitted. Let's keep them rolling. I love it. I love it. This is what we like. All right, let's see here. All right, this is a good one. This is a timely one right here. It says, I must admit that I've been feeling quite hopeless lately. Not so much for myself, but my ability to speak life into others. There's so much pain and depression in this world, from COVID to people not having jobs or money to provide for themselves and their families. Everywhere I go, people's conversation are depressing and they have no hope for things to get better. What's worse, I don't really have any answers for their questions. I freeze up, and honestly, it started to make me question how strong my faith actually is. I'll read that again. And this question, when I got this the other day, I was thinking, I was like, this is gonna be one. We really could do a lesson on it because this is the way a lot of people are feeling right now. I'm gonna read this again. It says, I must admit, I have been feeling quite hopeless lately. Not so much for myself, but my ability to speak life into others. There's so much pain and depression in this world, from COVID to people not having jobs or money to provide for themselves and their family. Everywhere I go, people's conversations are depressing and they have no hope for things to get better. What's worse is I don't really have any answers for their questions. I freeze up. And honestly, it started to make me question how strong my faith actually is. Deep, let me get Sirach 5. I need you to hold that and get Romans 12. If y'all got some precepts going on with that too, bring them out. But I want to say to all those who can relate to this lady, the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, is that people believe that you have to be like elders to be effective. That you got to be able to just go in this Bible and just swing it all around and bring out scriptures in order to help people. And ladies and gentlemen, that's not always required. Actually, sometimes it's the worst thing that you can do. I remember I had this lady one time, an Edomite lady, told me she used to be social work for me, and it's kind of crazy because it was the first couple of years after I came into the truth, and she was a very nice lady, and she said, "It's something about you that's different." She said, "I can tell that you have a relationship with God," and I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I do." And I was laughing inside because I knew it was quite different than what she thought, but she wasn't concerned with that. She was just concerned with when she came. She said she always felt at peace at our house. She was in a family, she was involved in the church, but she didn't feel as if she was being fed in the church. She said they kind of like did a lot of, good things and stuff for the homeless and things like that, but it wasn't something that she felt like she was learning. She didn't feel like she was, growing. And she was a leader as far as, being a part of the charity and, department. And she was always pouring into others. And she didn't have a lot of people pouring into her. And she told me that she was always like when she came visited me because she had the opportunity to talk. And I can remember the countless times she came to my house, how many times I actually opened the Bible and went into it. Now, there was a couple, but the majority of the times, we just had conversation. I just listened, encouraged her. And she told me that one of the last days that she was working with me, she said, Evander, what people don't realize is people don't care what you know until they know that you care. I never forgot that. And see, as Israelites, we haven't been spending a lot of time showing our Christian brothers and sisters, our brothers and sisters in the world, our family members, We haven't been spending a lot of time showing that we care. We're so eager to tell the world what we know. And that's why the majority of the time, people don't want to hear what you have to say. Because the way you talk to people and the way you deliver it, it makes people feel as if you're being talked down to. And a grown man, a grown woman don't want to be talked to like a child. No matter what their situation is, economically, spiritually, financially, everyone wants to be treated with dignity and respect. Sometimes the arrogance and the pride that we operate with as Israelites is really preventing us from being that bridge to the Most High, that umbrella in the time of the storm. We have to be mindful of that. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. So just because you can't quote a bunch of scriptures, just because you're not articulate and eloquent with your speech, it doesn't mean that you're not being effective when people are coming to you, because sometimes all people want is an ear, a hug, simply saying, it's gonna be okay. And you don't know the difference between what difference you can make in somebody's life just by showing them that you care what they got to say. So don't ever question your faith based on your ability to break down scriptures when you're dealing with people. That's not really where it's at. You're growing there. Don't worry about that. Give me what we said, Sirach 5, right? Mm-hmm. Let's get Sirach 5. I need you to hold that and get Romans 12. Tell people all the time, don't worry about that. All that's going to come in time. Sirach 5. And let's start at verse 11.
Be swift to hear.
Be what?
Swift to hear.
Notice what he said there. Be swift to hear. You gotta listen. Be swift to hear. Go ahead.
And let thy life be sincere.
And that what?
Let thy life be sincere.
See, the fact that you're living what you're talking about is going to go a whole lot longer than you're quoting the scriptures. So if people see you living right, living holiness, walking in righteousness, it's going to mean a whole lot more. Just let your life be sincere. Go ahead.
And with patience.
And with what?
With patience.
And with patience.
Give answer.
So that means when people ask you questions, be patient with it. Let them talk. Let them come out. Let them come to you in their own way. Don't rush them. And never be in this position where you're only waiting to respond and you're actually not listening. Listen. Take the time to listen. But, verse 12.
If thou hast understanding.
If thou hast understanding.
Answer thy neighbor.
Answer thy neighbor.
If not.
If you don't know what he's talking about.
Lay thy hand upon
Put thy hand upon the mouth. So that means if you don't know the answer and you are here trying to answer it, you're going to hurt them a whole lot more. Just simply say, I don't know. Sometimes you're going to be questioned. You're going to be, ask something and you don't know what it is. And you're like, man, just best thing to say, I'm sorry, I don't know. But then you tell them about the person who do know. And that's a mantra. Huh? Let's go to Romans 12. Hey, I'm gonna give you a call, and we can go into some things. Remember, I told you, I don't know if you came on, but we want these questions to be about people's your personal journey, your personal growth with the Most High. I don't know what camp or something that you study with, so I don't want to go into their personal beliefs about the way they feel about things. You know. But I'm gonna hit you up offline, and we can go into certain things like that. But just be mindful of the most important thing right now, as you're growing and learning the Most High, is establishing your relationship with Hamashiach, with the world under be Christ. And then those other factors, those other matters, He will reveal that understanding, that wisdom as time go on. And I'm not saying you're doing this, but that's one of the mistakes that people make, is they spend less time on self-evaluation and self-examination versus these other external factors that may not be as important in the long run. So, but I'm gonna definitely hit you up. Make sure you send me that email, and then I'm gonna send you a number, and we're gonna have a conversation, and we can go into certain things. What did I say? Romans 12. Romans 12, and start at verse 15.
Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep.
So one of the things that you can do to help people out is, when things good are happening to people, celebrate with it. Be happy for people. You know, give the Most High the glory. But when people are going through something and they're struggling, weep with them. Show them that you're concerned. Okay? Verse 16.
Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceit.
Condescend means go down to people of low estate. The number one thing that most people are going to have in common is this: you believe in Hamashiach. You believe the fact that Christ died for your sins. So the fact that you believe that in itself is going to be a grounds for you to build on. You have some commonality, and then you can go from there. But don't always try to overtalk people. Don't try to speak on things that you know they don't understand or have not been made aware of. Condescend down to men of low estate. Don't be high-minded, thinking that you're better because you know something that someone else doesn't know. Okay? Now, if we don't have another question in the assembly or in the chat, we're going to go into another question that's already been submitted. It says, I've heard of the 12 tribes, but never understood it. Could you give me a high level of understanding of who and what they are? I've heard of the 12 tribes, but never understood it. Could you give me a high level of understanding of who and what they are? Now, go to Genesis 49. I need you to hold that and get Revelation 7. Now, this came from a young lady that's recently come out of the Christian church. And the sad thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, is that the majority of Christians don't even know what an Israelite is. And that's really sad. When you tell them, I'm an Israelite, and they say, what is that? Because they've been told that God's chosen people are the Jewish people. That's what they've been told. So they don't even know what an Israelite is. And that's really sad. That's really sad. That the whole idea, the whole knowledge of what Israelites is, they don't know, because when you've been learning Christianity, for the most part, everything has been based on a Roman-based doctrine okay, and ideology. You see the pictures of white Jesus and a Roman toga, you know what I'm saying? You don't relate to Israel at all. So let's go to Genesis 49. Now, here in Genesis 49, we're not going to read this whole chapter. We're just going to look at verse 28 there. But for those who don't know what Israel is, Israelites are. In this chapter, this is when Jacob, their father, whose name became Israel, after wrestling with the angel, this is when he's on his deathbed. And he's prophesying to his sons what would happen to their seed in the last days. Okay? So he goes down all 12 of the sons there. You can see all 12 of the sons there. So you can read that in your own time. And that way you know exactly who the 12 tribes are. But then read verse 28.
All these are the 12 tribes of Israel.
All these are who?
All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is it that their father spake unto them, and blessed them every one according to his blessing. He blessed them.
That's the 12 sons of Jacob, of Israel. Okay? So that's the 12 tribes of Israel. We are from the tribe of Judah. Okay? The so-called black man, the so-called African American man, is from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. All right? Now, go into Revelation 7. Now here, you have the 12 tribes being discussed again. Now, for those who may follow, have dealt in, or may currently be a part of the religion of the Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll tell you that 144,000 are people from the church that get the chance to go to heaven, where nobody else gets to go. Okay. Pure madness. Okay. Pure madness. All right. Here in Revelation 7, we're going to come back to this chapter later on, so I'm not going to go start at the top. But you see here, starting in let's read verse 4 for me, right quick.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000. 144,000.
Right.
Of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Now, see right here. Now, this is one of the verses I go through quite often when I'm dealing with Christians who have been taught that the children of Israel, the 12 tribes, is lost, and we don't know who he is. They don't even stand no more. Matter of fact, hold that. Go to the book of James. One of our favorite verses that we like to read. Go to the book of James. Now, if you be honest, if you think about it, because you're probably not really made no notice of it. But if ever you're in the Christian church or watching a Christian pastor and they read out of James 1, you will notice that they never read verse 1. They always start at verse 2. Never read verse 1. You never thought about it because it wasn't significant to you. It didn't really matter. But we know why you don't read it. We know why you've been taught not to read it. James 1, verse 1.
James, a servant of the Most High
Uh-huh.
and of the Master Yeshua HaMashiach,
Uh-huh.
to the 12 tribes.
To who?
To the 12 tribes.
He wrote it to who?
To the 12 tribes.
No, to the 12 Baptist churches.
To the 12 tribes.
No, it's to the 12 Zion churches.
To the 12 tribes.
No, he wrote it to the 12 Catholic priests.
To the 12 tribes.
Bro, you read it from the wrong doctrine, brother. You read it from the wrong, this is from the Passion. You read it from the Passion. That's from the 12 Methodists, right?
To the 12 tribes.
It's from the 12 Presbyterians.
To the 12 tribes.
To the who?
To the 12 tribes.
To the 12 tribes.
Which is scattered abroad.
Which is what?
Scattered abroad.
Scattered abroad.
Greetings.
Hallelujah. So if the 12 tribes didn't exist, nobody knew who it was. Why was James writing a letter to him? What he was throwing a letter in a wishing bottle, how to do in the ocean, hoping one day find it. That's what y'all want us to believe. Come on. So that's to the 12 tribes. Let's go back to Revelation 7. And Jehovah's Witnesses tell you that this is 144,000, the only people that's going to church, going to heaven. And everybody else is making it. And they ain't coming from Israelites, as far as they're concerned. But let's see what the Bible says. Let's read that again. Revelation 7 and 4.
And I heard the number of them that were sealed, and that were sealed 144,000.
Who?
144,000. Of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Of all the tribes of the children of Israel. And if you read verses 5 through 8, you will see that 12,000 comes from all 12 tribes. Okay? Lastly, let's go to Revelations 21. Now, when you hear people talk about heaven, what do they always say? I want to make it to that old pearly gate. I heard a story that said that Peter was at the gate, and you had to answer a question that Peter had in order to get in.
Like 3 questions or something.
Yeah, or something like that, yeah.
Got a riddle for you.
Got a riddle for you. 3-card here to play 3-card Molly. Right? So they tell you it's the old pearly gate. Let's see what the Bible says here. Revelation 21, let's start at verse 10.
And he carried me in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from the Most High.
Right?
Having the glory of the Most High, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. And had a wall great and high.
Had a what?
Wall great and high.
Right?
And had 12 gates.
You had how many gates?
12 gates.
No, I thought it had one pearly gate.
And 12 gates.
Had 12 gates.
And at the gates 12 angels.
12 who?
12 angels. And names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes.
And wait, what up there?
The names of the 12 tribes.
The who?
The 12 tribes.
No, man. Hold up, man. No, that was Martin Luther.
Names of the 12 tribes.
No, man, that was John Wesley.
Names of the 12 tribes.
No, it was Constantine.
Names of the 12 tribes.
12 tribes
of the children of Israel.
Y'all see that? I think the 12 tribes matter. If the 144,000 is coming from it, and if their names are written on the 12 gates to get into heaven, I think it's quite important. Huh? So that's like a quick version, who the 12 tribes are, and what was your thing, right? So great question. And like I said, we have to be mindful that Our brothers and sisters don't know this because they're not being taught this in the church. They just, they're not being taught this. So we may see this as a question as like, oh man, what kind of question is that? But every time I come across somebody and they say, hey, they say, especially when it comes down to holidays and stuff like that. And, no, the number one thing is, what church you go to? And I was like, we have a church, and our church, say church for the sake of edification. And we say, it's on Saturdays. And the first thing, we keep the Shabbat. And the first thing they say, what? Are y'all 7 days Adventists? Boy, ain't no way, boy. Right? So then now it's, what's your religion? And I said, I don't have a religion. I'm an Israelite. What's that? That's what's the first thing they say. And it's not their fault. We used to turn on TBN and they have a show they call Meet the Jewish Jesus. Who is that guy? I don't want to know nothing about the Jewish Jesus. Now that guy is the devil. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't want to know no parts of that guy. It was this like, this is the reason why you hear us on Tuesday nights when we say we're striving to transform into the image of the greatest Israelite who ever lived. Yahshua HaMashiach, who the world know to be Jesus the Christ. He's an Israelite. And so are you, brother. So are you, my sister. Now, please, ladies and gentlemen, I thank the ARC for engaging with the questions today. It's been great, but y'all need to follow the spirit of the ARC. ARC Phillip, those who are watching live with us, let us get some questions. Well, you gotta relax. Those in the assembly, y'all have questions, feel free to ask them. I'm gonna go to another one that's already been submitted. I'm pretty sure ladies are gonna love this one. I enjoy wearing my hair in many ways. Currently, I've gone all natural because I just felt like it. That's in parentheses. It says, but I get a lot of quote unquote religious people that say I shouldn't wear makeup or extensions as if it's an abomination when I just enjoy being versatile. Does the Bible in any way speak against how we should look or carry ourselves? Okay, I'm gonna read that again. It says, I enjoy wearing my hair in many ways. In many ways. But I get a lot of religious people that say that I shouldn't wear makeup or extensions as if it's an abomination when I just enjoy being versatile. Does the Bible in any way speak against how we should look or carry ourselves? Let me get 1 Peter 3. I need you to hold that and go to the Apocrypha and get the book of Judah. Now, I will say this, and I will say this as the Paul says, I, not the master, meaning this is my opinion. To my sisters, and even to the brothers, this is true as well. America taught us that how we looked was ugly, not attractive. And when I came into the truth, and I just began to learn more and more things, and when I found out Yahshua knew the world of Jesus is black, and when I go to Daniel 7 and 9, I found out the Most High has really, it just, all these things, it reminded me of an old show that I seen on the Twilight Zone, where on the show, this woman, she was an attractive Edomite, was in this sort of like a laboratory. And she was being held captive there. They were running tests on her. And so, some kind of way she got loose, and she was trying to find her way out of the facility. And every time she would run, she would try to get away, she would run into a person that was working at the facility. And they would never show their faces. But every time the people would see her, they would be like, oh, they would be scared of her. She was like, wondering, like, why are they scared of me? And she running, but they looking at her as if she was scary. Children were there, and children would see her, they was running the other way. And the whole time she's trying to get away, the people that's there are running away from her. And so eventually, long story short, the people that worked the facility that was doing the test on her eventually catches her, put her on the table, locking her down, and everybody's just standing around. You see all these people looking down at her. And then finally the camera zooms out and it shows their faces. And all of their faces are distorted, look like aliens, and just, what we would deem as ugly, very messed up. But they looked at her, this woman that supposed to be what the world would have deemed as attractive, as ugly. I saw this years ago. But in my early years of the truth, and just realizing some things, the Most High brought that show back to my mind. Because in the country, in this world, our people, specifically our women, have been taught that everything about them is wrong. Your hair is wrong. Your lips are wrong. Your skin color is wrong. Your body is wrong. But yet the Gentiles have went out of their way to copy and to emulate everything that us is wrong. Do you guys know in the late 1700s, 1800s, that when they had kidnapped a woman from Africa, what's her name? Yeah, they brought her to Europe and was taking her around Europe in a cage like an animal. And all of them was looking, they was just astounded and spellbound by her buttocks. Sarah Barton. And do you know that all of the clothing designers of that time that began to design the dresses of the women so that it was so as if they had a big butt? See, this is the thing that our people don't know. They call it bad, but the women want it bad that don't have it. What do you think tanning is about? And they had us feeling so bad about our hair. This is one of the things that we teach in the introduction of getting people to understand who we are and showing what our people went through. That in the first 10 to 15 years off the plantation, so many of our people died because they was coming up with different products to bleach their skin and to make their hair straight. We were dying because a lot of the people, the women had been raped by the slave master, and those who had lighter skin were being treated better than the ones who had dark skin. You understand? So it's a lot. And this was the whole this whole market of hair straightening combs and relaxers was created in order to straighten our hair, men and women, to fit in, to look what we thought was pretty, attractive. This is when I see my sisters and my sisters and people say their hair is knotty. The question that we always say is, who told you that? Who told you your hair is knotty? You understand? So you may be saying, like, what they got to do with the question? The question is the reason why I'm saying that is that we have took these things and adopted into the denominations and the religions that we follow, certain ones like the holiness, coaching, and others, where they condemn women. I mean, in the holiness church, if you can see her ankles, you off. You the devil that the Bible speaks of, they can see your ankles. You better not show no calf. You can't wear makeup. You can't do their hair a particular way. But I also said it to say this. And like I said, like Paul said, I not the Most High, not Yeshua. Sisters, I think you need to really go away from all this weave and wigs. And if you knew what we knew, where some of their hair is coming from, and what they're doing to those hair.
Hey, on the way home, I seen somebody, know that, making a scary movie.
Yeah.
Called Bad Hair.
Yeah, there's a movie out that talks about that.
Yeah, they talk about it.
Yeah, they actually made a movie about it, how the girl becomes, yeah. Because on that movie, it's called Bad Hair. What happened is that this girl goes to this corporation to try to get a job, and the people there are treating her less because she has natural hair. And the rest of the sisters there had done straighten their hair out and all of them get promotions and opportunities. And she doesn't. This girl was a homely, nice, righteous girl. She goes out and starts putting this stuff in her head, and she becomes a demon, and it takes over her mind. Now, they bring it out subtly. We have the proof to what these Gentiles are doing to this hair and sending it to America to sell to our sisters. You understand? So I'm not saying this is law, but what I'm saying is that you're beautiful the way you are. Matter of fact, let me get that right quick. Let me get Psalms 139. You are beautiful the way that you are. You don't need no wig. You don't need no weave. You don't need no extensions. Because I'm going to tell you what most people, I don't want to go into that today, but Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, our women were cursed because of wickedness, and that's in Isaiah the 3rd chapter. They lost their beauty. Their hair was drawn up into baldness because of that. But I've heard testimony after testimony. Sisters that got into this truth, start keeping law, statute, commandments, and their hair is flowing now. Change. You change who you are on the outside, and the Most High fixes everything on the out. Change who you are on the inside. The Most High changes everything about you on the outside. Psalms 139, D. Let me get verse 13. Hold on.
I know when this right here relates to me a lot because for a few years, or pretty much all my life, I was dyeing my hair, I was waxing my hair, I was cutting my hair, I was shaving the sides. Mm-hmm. Y'all see me,
yeah.
You know, and one day I was like, you know what? I cut it this short, and I said I'm just gonna let it do what it do. Mm-hmm. And I just decided to not dye anymore, not do anything to it, just let it be. And here it is.
Look at
You
that.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's I feel more myself than I did when I was trying to do the color and the cutting and all that. You know what I'm saying? Just be you.
That's right.
Be beautiful as you are.
That's right.
You know, you don't have to put a wig on or extensions on or whatever to be beautiful.
That's right.
You're beautiful the way you were made.
That's right.
You know, and that's what I had to learn myself. So I'm speaking for myself.
Con.
You know, that's right.
Con. And like I said, and I want to make this clear that I'm not saying, ladies, that if you decide to put weave in your hair, you decide to wear a wig, that you off or you're against the Most High. That's not what we're saying. What the sister's saying is that she was led by the Ruach to go away from that and accept how the Most High made her, and she feels better than she ever felt in her life. And I've heard testimony after testimony after testimony of that, because our sisters are doing these things because society has taught them that they're not beautiful. That you got to look this certain way. Listen, I remember when I was at Fayetteville State University, I worked at this place, and this shorty that worked there had a different wig every day. Like, yo, she was literally, I got six ID, I could be anybody. So I'm telling you, bro, like every day she was a different person. All the time. Psalms 139, verse 13.
For thou hast possessed my reins.
Right.
Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb.
Mm-hmm.
I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
I'm what?
Fearfully and wonderfully made.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Ladies, you're just as beautiful, just as well you are. Okay, and listen, don't ever allow some foolishness or some ignorant Negro to say, yo, you pretty to be dark skinned. Yo, don't get caught up in that. That guy's ignorant. That's pure madness. She look hard to be a big girl. No. You gotta understand, you're dealing with boys. And you must realize that that's not the way a true son of the Most High will see you. But you're never gonna be your full of potential. Put it like this right here. Don't allow others' view to validate you. You look at what the Most High said about you. That's all the validation you need. Okay? But to address the question, let's go to 1 Peter 3. Watch this. What she said about, is it wrong for me to wear makeup, to do these things? And the answer is no. But this is what you need to be mindful of. 1 Peter 3. And Deke, let's start there, verse 1.
Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
Be what?
Be in subjection to your own husband.
So right now, ladies, let me say this. I know this may give me some hate mail. Okay? But I'm very confused when I look on social media and I'm seeing these women with husbands taking 4-5 selfies a day. Your husband knows exactly how you look. Who are you taking these pictures for? I don't want to hear, man, that's just the way it's society, and I'm just sharing with who? Sharing with who? That's what it is. It's a for sale sign. You can tell the people you wrote with whatever you want. You know how you get that car and the owner on the car lot, he's driving it, but he just got it out there, tucked to the side right there. He's coming by with the right price now. You can get it. No. Okay. We're going to get to that, Op. That's a good question. Real good question. I can't lock the note today, didn't you? I love it. I love it. Right? So he said, be in subjection to your own husband. Meaning, right now, if you're not married, the man that you need to be in subjection to is a masha. You don't need to be out here smiling up in all these men's faces, trying to be pleasing to anybody but Hamasha. And then when your husband comes, that's the one you be in subjection to. Go ahead.
That if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be warned by the conversation of the wife.
Now this is talking about, and I got to make sure this is clear. And it's funny, man. I tell you, the spirit is moving today. I know what this is about now, man. Listen, this is the ruach, right? Because y'all gonna see. Just put the question in there, and I got to break this down. That's related to that. This is you understand? Listen. See, the enemy, man. When it comes to these foolish attacks, they don't understand who you're dealing with, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I knew what it was, what it is, you know. It's gonna happen whether rapping and clapping, man. The people gonna be edified, and the Most High name will be glorified. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Now, read that last part of that 1 Peter 3:1. Watch this.
And if any obey not the word, they also may be without the word be warned by the conversation of the wise.
Ladies, this is not talking about marrying or forming a relationship with someone not in the truth. Talking about you gonna change them. Nah. This is talking about you're already married. You come into the truth. Now your life and your conversation and the way you treat him can be used as a weapon by the Most High to bring change to him. But this is not about I see this man and he got potential. And I believe that in the sweet by and by. Nah. That's not what it's talking about. This is talking about wives. This ain't talking about wifey. You understand? We be throwing that wifey and hubby, we throw that title out there. Nah, that's unless you got some papers. Okay. I ain't talking about no social media wifey. Okay. The majority of your communications is through text messages. You don't have a relationship. So I wanted to put that out there. Verse 2.
While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning let it not be the outward adorning of plaiting the hair,
right,
and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel.
Now I'm just going to give y'all one for free right here, just in case any of our Christian brothers and sisters may be watching. Okay, Peter was an Israelite, right? He was writing this letter to a church full of Israelites, right? If he wasn't talking to what the world knows as black people, why would he tell his sisters about plaiting their hair? If he was an Edomite women, so-called Roman, so-called European, so-called white women, why would Peter talk about plaiting your hair? How many of them you know plait their hair, that have hair that can be plaited? This sounds like to me, it had to be talking to sisters, right? That the world today called Black and African American. Because I don't know any other culture outside of Africa where they plait their hair. The Chinese plait their hair. And this whole thing, you know, the people of color like the Pakistanis and Indians try to throw their stuff in there. Nah. You ain't plaiting your hair, B. Tell us this, man. People of color, bro. Nah. All brown people. Nah. Now, that's just for the free. So read that again, verse 3, 1 Peter 3:3.
Whose adorning, let it not be the outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel.
So he said, don't let it be about the plaiting of fixing your hair a certain way, wearing jewelry, or the type of clothes you wear. And these denominations that guilt their women in dressing, they'll stop there. They'll just read that verse. They say, see, you ain't supposed to be plaiting your hair. See, you're not supposed to be wearing jewelry. See, you ain't supposed to be doing this. Let's go one more verse up. Verse 4.
But let it be the hidden man of the heart.
So what Peter was saying was, don't let it be all about how you look on the outside, but the woman that you are on the inside. He wasn't saying that you can't do these things. He said, just don't let that be your main focus. Huh? Go ahead.
But let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of the meek,
and quiet spirit,
which is in the sight of the Most High of great
price. Now, let me take you to show you a sister by the name of Judith. Now, ladies, I would strongly suggest that you take the opportunity to read the book of Judith. If you want a true hero, someone that you can look up to and aspire to be, Judith is that woman that you can aspire to be. The Bible says that Judith was so fine that as she left the village where she was living, the men stood and watched until she could not be seen anymore. They just kept looking. So I'm going to show you first how the Most High described who she was on the inside. Then I'm going to show you how she rocked. What's the word now? What's the word now? Juice? What they call it? That's not this way. That's our word. But what's the thing now? They say, come on, bro, help me out. Now you don't know what I'm talking about. That. What they talk about your clothes and stuff you wear. Your drip. You're gonna play me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't use such
I don't use such words. I don't speak such words.
Such words.
That is beneath me. I'm with the Most High. I'm in the word every day, B. I don't speak such terms. I don't speak terms of this. Hallelujah. So let's go in the book of Jude. My nephew done played me there like this guy. You must keep up with the facts. I don't want to quote him about it. I only speak fluent Hebrew. And looked at me like, let's go in the book of Jude, man. Right? And they show this description of her as a woman on the inside. And then watch what it says. And I'm going to show you how she also wore the things that if she was a part of certain denominations, they would say she was wicked. Right? So let's go to Judah, the 8th chapter, and let's look at it, start at verse 1.
Now at that time, Judah heard thereof, which was the daughter of Merari, the son of Ox, the son of Joseph, the son of Hosea, the son of Elcida, the son of Anias, the son of Gidon, the son of Raphaim, the son of Achitos, the son of Eliu, the son of Eliab, the son of Samuel, the son of Samuel, the son of Salada, the son of Israel.
The son of Israel. So notice how she knew exactly where she came from. She traced it all the way down, her lineage. Right? Verse 2.
And Manasseh was her husband
Uh-huh.
of her tribe and kindred, who died in the barley harvest.
So right here, she had a husband, but unfortunately, the husband died. Right? Verse 3.
For as he stood overseeing them that bound sheaves in the field, the heat came upon his head, and he fell on his bed, and died in the city of Bethulia. And they buried him with his fathers in the field between Dothaim and Balaam.
Uh-huh.
So Judah was a widow in her house 3 years and 4 months.
So she's been a widow for 3 years and 3 months. Go ahead.
And made her tent upon the top of her house, and put on sackcloth upon her loins, and wear her widow's apparel.
So that she wore her widow's apparel, meaning that she was no longer a wife anymore. Back in our heritage, women would present themselves in a certain manner. You knew if she was married, you knew if she was single, or you knew if she was a widow. So all the people of the community knew when they saw Judah based on what she was wearing, that she was one who had lost her husband. Right? Verse 6.
And fasted all the days of her widowhood.
She did what?
Fasted all the days of her widowhood.
So this woman is fasting to the Most High. What else?
Save the eves of the Sabbath.
Oh, she kept the Sabbath.
And the Sabbaths.
And
the eves of the new moon.
And she kept new moons.
And the new moons.
And
the feasts.
And the feasts.
And the solemn days of the house of Israel.
Y'all see that? This is a sister in the truth. Well, she was truth. And notice that she didn't, when her husband died, everything didn't cease. And I'm saying that because right now, there's a lot of women right now that are only doing things because your husband or your man is doing it. But it ain't in your heart to do. That's what Peter was talking about it being inside, the eternal woman. When her husband died, nothing changed. Her relationship was with the Most High. She's still keeping Sabbaths, still keeping new moons, still celebrating the feasts, still fasting unto the Most High. It's not about her husband. It's about the Most High. Watch this. Verse 7.
She also of a good countenance.
She was what?
She was also of a good countenance.
She was of a goodly countenance.
Goodly countenance.
And
very beautiful to behold.
And very beautiful to behold. Why am I bringing this up? It's because now we got some beautiful, beautiful women in Israel. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, as we look in the world, especially dealing with our women, our people, the enemy comes after our women at a very early age. Why? Because a woman has a power that man doesn't. A man can influence mostly men. Women have the power to influence not only men, but women. This is why I continuously try to assist to our women to stay strong and hold on and hold out. Because the reason why men, the majority of men, are no longer doing right is because they don't have to do right anymore to get a woman. Because if you know, I remember, I'm gonna tell you a quick testimony. One of my spiritual fathers, the late, great Bishop Samuel Thomas, he was talking to us one day, he ministered, and he was the type of man that a regular conversation would be wisdom. Regular conversation. Just jugging wisdom. And he told us about the fact that when he first started preaching, that he won't rent. He said that he did his what they call the church initial sermon. Church packed, everybody in there screaming and hollering. He said he went home And his wife named Miss Annie. Said Miss Annie came and told him, said, I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't living with no wicked preacher. Now he was living foul before that, and she loved him anyway. But when he started preaching, she told him the day he came home, I ain't living with no wicked preacher. He knew that in order to keep his wife, he had to live what he preached. She wasn't going for it. She said, hey, you this person now outside of this, I love you, we got children, but you ain't gonna be sitting up there in the pulpit preaching, and I know you live in another kind of way. I ain't having it. Changed. You have to understand, ladies, the power that you have. You don't have power to get your nails done, your hair done, get a new car. That's beneath you. You're selling yourself short when you use your beauty for that. Esther used her beauty to save a nation. And so did Judith. Read it again. It said what?
She was also of a goodly countenance,
right,
and very beautiful.
And very beautiful.
And her husband Manasseh had left her gold and silver, and men servants and maid servants, and cattle and lands, and she remained upon it.
So she could have had any man in that city in Israel she wanted. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Because I'm telling you, you read this, when you see the way the men acted when she walked up, you'll know clear. Anybody she wanted, she could have had. Now I'm good with the Most High. Good. My husband, I love him. This is why I was planning to spend the rest of my life with. He set me up, I'm good. I'm not making a decision based on money, good. Now, I'm not telling the ladies, oh, your husband died, you can't get married. That's not what we're saying. I want you to read, you got to explain things because somebody take something to run with it. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that her relationship with the Most High influenced everything about her life. Not her beauty. Not the way she looked. I wanted to make a point to show you that she was beautiful. But what the Most High said before, he said how beautiful she was on the outside. He showed you how beautiful she was on the inside. Huh? Watch this. What else it say, D?
And there was none that gave her an ill word, for she feared the Most High greatly.
And there was none that gave her an ill word. Nobody ever spoke evil of her. Why was that, D?
For she feared the Most High greatly.
Because she feared the Most High greatly. Now, go over to chapter 10. Now, this woman, the Bible says that she feared the Most High, kept the law, statutes, and commandments. Now, according to denominations in Christianity, if you wear certain things and do certain things, you are unholy. Right? Chapter 10, verse 1. Watch this.
Now after that she had ceased to cry unto the Most High of Israel, and had made an end of all these words.
So what happened here, just to get you to understand what was going on, she lost faith in the men of the area to do what they needed to do. The men failed horribly. They were scared. This is the time of that, right before the Grecian captivity. And they was putting time limits on the Most High and about to get ready to sell out. And so she was crushed because she's like, yo, my husband was here. This would have never happened. Basically what you said. Like, what is going on here? What kind of man is in charge now? When we're not standing on the Most High, we operating out of fear. So this last chapter, chapter 9, is her praying to the Most High for instructions on what to do. So read that verse 10 again, verse 1 again, verse chapter 10.
Now after she had ceased to cry unto the Most High of Israel and made an end of all these words, she rose when she had fallen down, and called her maid, and went down into the house in which she abode in the Sabbath days and in her feast day, pulled off the sackcloth which she had on, and put off the garment of her widowhood.
So now she said, listen, I'm not a woman in mourning anymore. I'm about to go do work now. It's time to level up. Right? So she took off that about mourning anymore and did what?
And washed her body all over with water, and anointed herself with precious ointments, and braided the hair of her head.
She did what?
Braided the hair of her head.
Once again, couldn't have been an Edomite, couldn't have been a Roman. Because she did what?
Braided the hair of her head.
Right?
And put on attire upon it. And put on her garments of gladness, wherewith she was clad during the life of Manasseh, her husband.
She's put on the clothes that she used to wear for a man. So this is what used to make my man smile when I walk in the room. This is what used to make him say, Lord have mercy. Right? Watch this. Verse 4.
And she took sandals upon her feet, and put about her bracelets.
She put on some bracelets? What? She had jewelry? What else?
Put about her bracelets and her chains.
Oh, she had chains too? Go ahead.
And her rings.
And rings?
And her earrings.
Oh my gosh, she had earrings on? What else?
And all her ornaments, and decked herself bravely.
That's the makeup.
To allure the eyes of all men that should see her.
Y'all see that? This woman of God put on makeup and jewelry. Wow. Wow. So don't say to these women, we can't be telling women you got to be sitting around here looking plain in order to be holy. Because I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of modest women wicked. Okay? So I just wanted to put that out there. Just wanted to let you see what the Most High said about this great woman of God and how she still brought the things that people consider to be wrong. Now, we got another question submitted live. It says, how should someone deal with an unbelieving spouse? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. I could go so many directions with that, but I'll leave that alone for the sake of, I don't want nobody to stop me on the yard when they get to the crib. But I hear that whole word. How we doing it? Right? Now, unfortunately, this is one of the issues that we're facing in this time of the awakening, especially during what we call the most wickedest time of the year. When the so-called holidays connected to Christianity come up, this is one of the times during the awakening where there's a lot of friction, strife, arguments, contention in the home. Because very rarely does husband and wife that were not in the truth come into the truth together, unfortunately. Sometimes the husband wakes up first, sometimes the wife wakes up first. It's funny because before we went live today, we were just talking about that syntax. That we call it the syntax that you have to wear, that you have to pay. When you're in the world, living in the kind of way, and have children by someone that ain't in the truth. And so you try to raise your child according to the Most High. They still going on the traditions of the world, traditions of being black. And it could be a very, very stressful thing. And so, but that syntax is terrible. It's hard. But it's nothing like what you have to deal with when you're in the home of an unbelieving spouse. And this is just my opinion. I think for those who were in the world and one of the spouses came into the truth, I dare say that they have it somewhat easier than those who were in the Christian church together. Because until you have received the truth, number one, that you're not black, that you're not an African American, you believe that everything you've been taught in the religion of Christianity is right. We've been talking about it for the last couple of months. Our Christian pastors continuously justify celebrating Christmas. And so when you got your husband or your wife telling you, say, hey, we need to move away from this, we need to go away from that, and then you go to your pastor who's supposed to be the expert in the Bible, and they're telling you, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's rough. When you tell them we need to keep the Sabbath, and they say, well, hey, we can serve the Lord any day. You know, Jesus came to do away with the law. You know, all these things that they say. It don't matter what color Jesus is. You know, all these things that you hear people say. It can be very difficult. So Paul, in one of his letters to the Church of Corinth, he addressed this. Let's start there. Let's just go straight to it for a second time. Verse 12. 1 Corinthians 7:12.
But to the rest I speak not, but to the rest speak I, not the Most High. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away.
So, and I have to remind brothers and sisters of this all the time. I have been approached over the last 4 or 5 years. I have lost track of how many times I've been approached. Because, number one, they're frustrated. But more importantly, you got these ignorant Israelite teachers out here telling people that they can get a divorce. And especially in some of these so-called camps, when they're dealing with women, especially women, listen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm not going to have no argument in the conversation about polygamy. We're not doing that on the Q&A. I'm just telling you this. If you're just fresh into the truth, and the elder that is teaching is pro-polygamy, run as fast as you can. Okay? I'm not going to argue whether or not today, run as fast as you can. Because messages will be swayed And I've heard countless times of women being told to divorce their unbelieving husband so that one of the elders or leaders or the men of the church can make you an additional wife. Be careful. Especially if you got children. They say they'll flip the scripts around. Hey, you know, you got a man up here, we got to step up and be there for the children. Give us around 14. We gotta be there for the children. You know what I'm saying? The Most High, he learned the prophets, the men of God. We can help take care of the kids. Give us around 14 on that.
Be as a father unto the fatherless.
Be as a father unto the fatherless.
And instead of a husband unto their mother.
Instead of a husband unto the mother. So you can help the fatherless, you don't got to marry the mama. That's a gigolo. That's a pimp. Not a gigolo, but that's a pimp. That's a sugar daddy. That should have no place amongst Israel. So if you see a woman with children and they struggling, they need help, they need shoes, they need clothes, they need food in their house, you don't gotta have sex or marry the wife, the woman, in order to help. Read it again. It says what?
Be as a father unto the fatherless.
Be as a father unto the fatherless.
And instead of a husband unto their mother.
And he said he would do what?
So shall thou be as the son of the Most High.
And
he shall love thee more than thy mother doth.
You see that? The Most High said, if you do that, I'll love you more than your mama love you. Jacob never learns. Now, so let's go back. I didn't want to sway off from the question, but I just wanted to bring that out. Chapter verse 8 back in 1 Corinthians 7.
1 Corinthians 7, verse 13.
Bring it out.
And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave her.
Now, so here Paul is saying, if you, a man, have a wife that's unbelieving, but she's pleased to dwell with you and she want to stay married with you, don't put her away. If you are a woman and your husband don't believe the truth, don't want to live the truth, but want to continue to be married to you, you shouldn't get a divorce. Because prior to this truth, ladies and gentlemen, and I know this sounds strange, but outside of that, pretty much everything else about your marriages is great. So Paul says, right now you have that issue, right? He said, don't put them away, because what I have seen also, I have the testimonies over and over as well, of a husband, of a wife coming to the truth, and the first 2, 3, 5, sometimes 10 years is rough. As far as dealing with the truth, keeping, the things of the law and commandments. But look at what Paul says.
Verse 14, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife.
Right.
And the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband.
So you are covering your husband or your wife when you remain married to them by you keeping law, statutes, and commandments and bowing your knee to a Masha. Go ahead.
Else were your children unclean, but now they are holy.
You see that? So before that, your children were unclean. Now they're in holiness. They have an example of what holiness looks like. They have a chance now. What else?
But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. Brother,
Most High Christ bless. And believe it or not, it's happening. They leave. Now, and I got to put this out here too, T. Don't pull that Chris Rock on Why Not Get Married. sparking the fights. Come home, man, I'm tired of chicken. Why you gotta cook chicken all the time? Nah. No. Let me get a precept on that too. Because a lot of people, what happens, and this I'm gonna talk specifically to the men. You start coming up with things, you start acting different, talking down to the woman now, and now you're trying to push them out. Right? Most High ain't not gonna honor that. If they leave, it's on them. Give me one moment. Let me find this precept real quick. Make sure I bring this out as well. It's super no time. Be not a line in the home. It's a Sirach. Yeah, I got it. Sirach 4. Let's start at verse 28. Hold on. Deuce. I'm telling you right now, bro, this is gonna end horrible for you. Deuce, open up your eyes. You better relax, man. There's no one here to save you. Fix your face, get yourself together and relax. It's gonna end horrible for you. Sirach 4, verse 28. Watch this.
Strive for the truth unto death, and the Most High shall fight for thee.
So he says, strive for the truth unto death, and the Most High will do what?
Shall fight for thee. Be not hasty in thy tongue,
right?
And in thy deeds slack and remiss.
Read it again.
Be not hasty in thy tongue.
Be not hasty in thy tongue.
And in thy deeds slack and remiss.
Slack and remiss. Go ahead.
Be not as a lion in thy house.
Be not as a lion in thy house.
Nor frantic among thy servants.
Nor frantic among thy servants.
Let not thine hand be stretched out to receive, and shut when thou should repay.
You see that? So don't be a lion in your house, man. Roar, roar, everywhere you go. No. Okay? So Ox said, even if she's putting up a Christmas tree and eating pork and breaking the laws, I still stay. Let's go back. Listen to the word, Ox. Listen to the word. Because last year or the year before that, you were standing right around that Christmas tree saying jingle bells. Remember, there was a time when you didn't know what you know. There was a time when that pork, the way she cooked it, you loved it. There was a time when you went shopping for Christmas gifts and was great about blessing your wife with a gift and getting a gift. You have to understand, be always mindful of where the Most High found you. You understand? You got to have the same patience with your spouse as with the Most High had patience with you. Because what if Hamashiach would have left you when you was eating that pork? What if the Most High would have left you when you was putting up that Christmas tree? What if the Most High would have told you, like, you know what? I done sent person after person to tell him to change, and he ain't changed. You know what? You're done. He didn't do that for you. You can't do that to her. You understand? Watch this. Back to 1 Corinthians 7. And give him verse 16.
For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife?
You don't even know. Listen, bro, I can spend the next 3 hours telling you testimony of brothers that I know, that I minister to, that's walking the shoes that you're walking. It's been already on that path. I got ox right now that's on the same path. Listen. This is. Let me stop here. Read the rest of that right quick, and then I'm gonna bring this out with the rock and tell you.
Verse 17. But as the Most High has distributed to every man, as the Most High has called everyone, so let him walk. And so ordained I in all churches.
Let me put it this right here. The way you always can be mindful of how to treat people is allow it to be mirrored how Yahshua, who the world know to be Jesus, has treated you. Listen, let me tell you something, man. I do not deserve to be called an elder. If you put my resume up for the first 25, I'm gonna dare say 30 years of my life, if you put it up there, that resume don't equal elder amongst Israel. You understand? I was wicked. And the Most High still saw fit to bring this truth into me. Therefore, as everybody I walk this road with, this journey with, and I cross path with, my goal is to have the same mercy, and long suffering, and patience with them as Joshua had with me. Because you never know what day that everything you've been saying, what everything you've been doing will turn around and make them see the Most High in you. Because ultimately, that's really what it's about. See, I'm gonna tell you right now what your problem is, huh? I'm gonna be real. Let's talk men to men. I'm gonna tell you what your problem is. This ain't about the Most High. You want her to pay you. You gotta do because I said it. That's the pride of man. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the more you make it about you, the less she's gonna wanna do it. Okay? When you keep talking about, I'm telling you, go to Sirach 20. Is this real apparent what this is all about? Is this real apparent what it was all about? It's gonna be all right, brother. I promise you. I promise you. You're gonna look back on these days right here. I ain't want to put a time frame on it because I ain't want to be no false prophet on it. But there's gonna come a day where you're gonna be sitting holding hands with your wife. It's probably be a feast day. And you have tears rolling down your eyes. And everybody's gonna be looking around you and saying, what's wrong with Ox? What's going on? Right? And you're gonna think about this day right. You're gonna think about the other days when you was frustrated, ready to flip every table up in the house. And now you and your lovely wife is going through the scripts together. The first time she say shalom to you, the first time you see her in fringes with a hair wrap, and you're gonna be like, and it's gonna break you down. Thank you. Thank you. What did he say? He said, my problem is I understand. I understand. I understand. I understand. Trust me. Go to let's switch this up. Go to 1 Peter 3. Let's go back to 1 Peter 3. Christianity is a powerful drug. Let me give you a testimony right quick. I'm gonna keep drawing it back to me. I'm gonna try to make this easier for you. I'm gonna bring it back to me. I've been in the truth for 8 years. In 2013, when the truth was brought to me,
You say you can read out loud.
okay, I'm just trying to be discreet. I ain't put your business out there, you know. But when I came into the truth, it was 2013. I have been a pastor in the Christian church for 6 years. Guess who brought me the truth? It wasn't another pastor. It wasn't somebody that was an elder, moray, or deep in the truth. Guess who it was? My little brother. My youngest brother. The person that I led to Christ. Yes. I led him to Christ. One night in the church, did the prayer of salvation with him. And he coming to me saying, bro, we the children of Israel. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Arguing him down for weeks. And all he kept saying was, just watch this video. Watch this video. Just check it out. Boy, ain't no way, boy. You're not going to tell me. They would have told me this on TV and they would have been told me this on Daystar. All the powerful preachers on Word Network, somebody would have brought it out. Now, my little brother, I had to humble myself, get past my pride, and watch the video, 12 Tribes Lost. And everything about my life changed. And remind you again, I wasn't just an average person, I was a Christian pastor. At a congregation that looked to me. I had peers all over the country. We was traveling all over the country, wasn't we not? All over the southern part of the country preaching. And I had to go back to all these places and tell the people, hey, what I told you for the last 6 years is a lie. I was wrong. We got to keep the law. You know how hard and difficult that was for me? And then what happened after that was the pastor stopped talking to me. I had spiritual fathers to cut me off. At one point, me and Deke was asking for a weekend off. Nobody was calling no more. And you said, what they got to do with it? I lost everything because there was no one more serious about this truth, about this Bible, because I knew who I was prior to the Most High coming in my life. And the first 3 years, the Most High wouldn't allow me to teach this truth. He told me to learn. You see, the reason why your wife and other people are going through what they're dealing with when it comes to this is because you can't know how you're supposed to live until you know who you are. And that's not only with coaching. Coaching is one of the more I would dare say prideful denominations because they believe that they was the original Christian church, which is a lie. They don't know that, but that's what they believe. And the majority of people who are in the Christian church are not talking it, they living it, which means they hold it dear to everything who they are. And you cannot instantly unlearn something that you have lived your entire life overnight. I mean, I'm gonna tell you the truth, I had to tell this to a brother one time before. I said, if your wife was wished to change overnight, when you just bring it to her, you're children of Israel, and she changed overnight, you might want to question everything about your marriage. Because nobody should be able to change like that over anything. Because that means you can come to her and say, hey, we ain't working no more, we robbing and selling drawers now. Okay, I'm with it. So your greatest weapon, you have two excellent weapons that you haven't probably even tapped into. Your witness and your prayers. Because your prayers work while you sleeping. It opens the eyes of the people that you're praying for. And then when they wake up, they're able to see a Mashiach in you. Like I said, you at this point right now, I don't know you are, but I'm just saying for what different experiences I have with people and dealing with men make it about them. Do as I say. Change. Be obedient. But our first obedience is to the Most High. And if she believes that the Most High saying, I got to go to church on Sunday and I got to celebrate my Savior on Christmas, she's not listening to you, Art. It's not until it comes to the realization that Christmas and Sunday and Easter doesn't have anything to do with the Most High until she's going to say, oh, I need to be different. So right now, you got to have patience. It's long suffering. It's with hope, and you wait, and you wait, and you speak, and you just chill. Watch this. Right? Hallelujah. Let's go back to 1 Peter 3. Look at what Peter was talking about on this. Watch this. Watch this. Remember when we were talking about how we're saying the women don't understand the power that they have, but men, you don't understand what you have either. Watch this. 1 Peter 3. Let me get there. I can quote it, but I want y'all to see it. Verse 7.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
You said what?
Dwell with them according to knowledge.
So that means right there, you have to dwell with your wife according to knowledge, meaning knowing the woman in which you're dealing with. You know her. You know her better than she knows herself in a lot of ways. So that means you have to approach her based on the personality and the type of person she is. You got to know when it's time to talk, when it's time to be quiet, when it's a time to teach, and when it's a time to listen. It can be pure madness. It can be something just completely outside of you like. But I'm telling you, nothing warms a woman's heart more to know that she can talk to her man. And you sitting there listening, and she talking about, oh, we had just a wonderful time at the Christmas dinner there at work. And you sit there like, but when you sit here like, oh, for real? What y'all serve? Yeah, they had some ham and some, stuff, what they call it, the little things, the little stuffed pigs,
Pigs in the blanket.
pigs in the blankets, and one of the old ladies, she brought us some chitlins, but we just had a good old time with it. We like, oh, no, I bet y'all were loving that. That's not the time to say, Leviticus 11. No. No, you like, okay. Word. Just talk. Listen. Not making every conversation about the truth. Because the Most High is going to open those doors. He's going to give those times. You know your woman. I can't tell you your woman. You know your woman. And there's going to be those times where she's just going to come to you and say, babe, they said such on TV, this, and that. Well, the Most High said this right here. Oh, wow, he said that? Because I can guarantee you, those prophecies and things that you learn right now in this truth, that pastor ain't preaching about. And so when you answer that question, when you answer this question, when you do that, she'll be like, okay. Read it again, Vicky says what?
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
Dwell with them according to knowledge. Go ahead.
Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Now, understanding that she is the weaker vessel, meaning that doesn't make her weak, like weak per se, but she doesn't have the strength that you have. She's emotional. You have to be mindful of that. So, if your wife done had a terrible day at work, I don't know if y'all got children, but the kids getting on the nerves. It's not the time to have a biblical talk. It's not the time. You understand? You got to understand what's going on. What else?
And as being heirs together.
Because she's what?
As being heirs together.
Because she's heirs together with you. Go ahead.
Of the grace of life. That your prayers be not hindered.
Whoa! Man, you didn't know that, did you? If you don't treat your wife right, do you recognize that messes up your life in prayer? So you praying for financial blessing, you praying to be healed, you praying for this, and you praying for that, and the Most High said, you ain't under your wife, bro. Nah, you ain't getting nothing. You didn't know that, did you? You understand? Right? Watch this. Look what he said. Verse 8.
Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful, be courteous.
See that? Now, go to 1 Peter 5. It's like go to Ephesians 5. See, you know I got to get some Ephesians on this. You already know. I got to get that Ephesians on. I appreciate it, because most men are hard-headed. They don't want to hear truth. Hear what that says the Most High. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm not even saying anything. This is all the Most High dealing with you right now. This is what the Most High wants to talk to you about. All glory, honor belongs to the Most High higher right here. He's ministering to you right now.
Hallelujah.
Because he wants your marriage to be successful. He is thinking about where you're going to go in life together, hand in hand. That's what he's concerned with. He brought you here for a reason today. This is all the Most High doing right now. Okay? Watch this. Ephesians 5. Give verse 25. Watch this.
Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Look at that's what I told you. As the husbands, you have to mirror yourself in the same way that Hamashiach did. He gave himself up. He gave everything about his life and put it on hold, put it to the side in order for us, the church, to be able to have life. And that's the same way you got to do with your wife. Your goals, your desires have to become secondary. I'm not telling you to just completely not have anything for yourself. It's not what I'm saying. But the greater good of the marriage has to be the primary agenda, the primary thing that you're concerned with on a daily basis. And I'm telling you, that comes before your children. Because it started with you and your wife, and when the children are raised out of the house and going doing their own thing, it's going to be just you two. And when y'all don't do that, this is why the reason why you see a lot of times when the children leave, guess what happened to the marriage? Husband, mom and daddy divorced. And the children like, what? What happened? Because nobody would, your marriage ended. As soon as the kid came, it was just about, oh, we mom and daddy now. No. It's always got to be about you two. A man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Watch this. Verse 26.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
Now, this is that foolishness that he be coming in and talking about that baptism is just reading the Bible. Pure madness. What this is talking about is that when you loving your wife like Christ loved the church, like Hamashiach loved the church, and you're teaching and you're being that example for, you're washing her, you're cleansing the world off of her and allowing her to be that beautiful being that the Most High designed her to be. Because what you don't understand is this. Let me put men on game right here. When Eve was created, what was the first verse she heard? What was she heard? Adam. The Most High designed it that way. And if Adam is telling to her what the Most High says, that's how she goes in the right direction. Now, I know that goes against the feminist movement, and I'm my own woman, and I'm independent, and all this I can do me. How's that working out for you? How's that working out? Okay. So when the man is speaking life into her and bringing that truth, because the man's responsibility in the home is to be the priest, the prophet, and the king. The priest, the prophet, and the king. The priest is, he goes unto the Most High on behalf of the family. He operates as a prophet because he comes back to the family on behalf of the Most High. And as a king, he brings the stability, the protection, and the structure and the foundation. Okay? This is your responsibility as a husband. So if things are out of order, the Most High is not going to look at the woman. He's looking at you. And believe it or not, and I know this may shock you, but I have to tell you the truth. The Most High ain't coming to your wife with a Christmas tree right now. It's coming to you. Because if you would have been the man that you're supposed to be when you married her, the Christmas tree would have never been in the house in the first place. And that's that thing that we had to set. We're like, oh man, this is on me. Yeah. Because what we do in life is we go out and we do our own thing and living, and we go and form these relationships, and then we try to include the Most High in after the fact. But the truth of the matter is, we were supposed to be sticking the Most High the whole time, getting right, getting righteous, getting holy, lined up. Most High brings the woman, and then we go forth in the Most High. So us as a people in captivity, we've been learning and hustling backwards. And then when the woman is off, we're looking at the woman, oh, you're disobedient, oh, you're evil, you're wicked. Who taught her that? Man, we got to be real. We got to be real. The buck starts with us. Right? Watch this. Let's one more thing in there, and then we're gonna move on. I got a couple more questions I need to get to. What we stop at, D?
26.
Verse 27.
That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
The way the Most High, when Yeshua comes and presents the church to the Most High, holy, righteous, and without blemish, that's the way we're supposed to present the wife and our children to the Most High. Watch this, verse 28.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
See that? But look at this, verse 29.
For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourished
But
it.
what?
But nourished
But
it.
nourish
And cherished
and
it,
cherish it.
even as the Most High the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones.
See that?
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh.
This ain't no power couple here. Okay? This ain't no take two to tango. You become one. Con? All right. Loving this. All right. Here we go. Nick, I know you're going to love this one. Should we as Israelites be concerned with climate change or global warming? Should we as Israelites be concerned with climate change or global warming? Now, the only way that I can answer this question in the proper manner in which it needs to be is I'm going to remind you of the great movie called The Color Purple, right? And it's a very famous scene in there when Oprah Winfrey is standing out in the street and a lady comes and asks her, say, would you like to be my maid, take care of my house? And she said to her, well, y'all know the answer.
What you say?
And then they said, what you say? And she said, I said. Well, that's my answer to should we be concerned with climate change and global warming. In other words, with all the madness and stuff you see on TV, God, you believe it. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, if you think that some little Edomite girl from the Netherlands has been empowered to go and speak all over the world, God, you believe it. These are distractions. All of these things in which they're doing, ladies and gentlemen, has one goal and one goal only, is to get the top 1% to have control over the food and water supply. See, right up under our noses, what people don't realize, these Edomites are going around the world buying up all areas of clean water to themselves. They damming off rivers, making sure that they have access to water while the rest of the world is going to be cut off. And they telling you, oh man, the glaciers are melting, and all these things are happening, and our world is going to be destroyed. We need to change this, we need to change that. What they're doing, ladies and gentlemen, is fear-mongering, getting the people into a frenzy of the world being destroyed, but not realizing who is actually destroying it. So people are going to be afraid, and then sooner or later, they're going to come with the bait and switch. Hey, you need to pass this legislation so that the government could be over all of the drinkable water. That way, we make sure it's protected. And you do that, guess what? If you're an Israelite going down there with your gallon and your fringes on and no medical procedure, no water. That's the way that's going to work. Oh, you want water? I need you to roll that sleeve up, buddy. Don't you believe it? You want to know what the real global warming and the real climate change is? Let's go to Revelation 7. In the spirit. Stay in the spirit. Let's go to Revelation 7. Let me show you what's really going on. And for us that plan on doing this 1,000-year reign with a Mashiach, we're not really concerned. Because when Israel was in charge, the world was doing pretty good, was it not? As soon as the Gentiles took over, things went downhill. So, I'm not concerned with it. And if you know this Bible, it's something we about to bring out here. When you see it on TV, you'll be laughing just like we laugh. Oh, the glaciers are melting at an all-time rate. What are we going to do? By 2035, we might not have this. Listen, America, that's the least of your concern. A glacier, okay. Glacier's melting. Babylon, you got a whole lot more to be concerned with. You're probably not going to be around by 2035. Okay. So you're talking a glacier. Climate change, ladies and gentlemen, is the last thing you need to be concerned with. You better get the climate change in your house. That's what you need to be worried about. Okay. You ain't seen global warming yet. That lake of fire, I'm telling you, it's real. Watch this. So, this is when I see this on the news, when they be up there talking about all this stuff, I would love to just be standing there and the camera swing to me after they come up with their news. This is what I'm going to read. Revelation 7, verse 1.
And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east,
right,
having the seal of the living
having what?
The seal of the living Yah. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth.
It was given to do what?
To hurt the earth.
They were charged to do what?
To whom it was given to hurt the earth.
To hurt the earth. Who sent them? One of the Most High. See, they don't never tell you that part. This is the wrath. This is judgment. Okay? This is what this is about. They conveniently leave that part out. Read it again, Dick. You say what?
Having the seal of the living Yah, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea.
To hurt the earth and the sea. Remember I told you we was going to come back here and read verse 4? Socket verse 3.
Saying, hurt not the earth.
He said, hurt not the earth.
Neither the sea.
Neither the sea.
Nor the trees.
Nor the trees.
Till we have sealed the servants of our Yah in their foreheads.
Now you Christians that invite these guys in talking about climate change and global warming, are you making sure that you go and seal the servants? Or are you making more Baptists? Remember, Isaiah 49:6 is what? Raise up the tribes of Jacob, restore the preserved of Israel. You're not doing that. So while you talking about the glaciers, this is what you need to be concerned with. Oh, there's more. Because upon 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. Go to chapter 16. Just gonna go through this just a little bit. Different little things in here. But you see, this is all wrath. This is all judgment. This ain't global warming. Okay. So they hold these great big events and seminars, and everybody, all the scholars and scientists are coming in, and there's no one in there with a Bible. Because it could be all solved. Sir, can I read one thing? You got a 5-hour seminar schedule, and I go in and read this. Yes, Deke, excuse me. Giving honor to the Prime Minister, to presidents. Thank you guys for inviting us today. Yes, sir, we're honored to be here. Now, we don't have a TED Talk or nothing. I haven't wrote any journals or any scientific. I'm not going to quote any scholars or anything of that nature. I'm just going to go into Holy Bible, the KJV version. Yes, I'm going to read Revelation 16, and let's start at verse 1 in Revelation 16.
And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels.
To the who?
To the 7 angels. Go your ways.
Go your ways.
And pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth.
He said, the what?
Pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth.
Okay.
And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men, which had the mark of the beast.
Wow. Whoa. We've told you guys who are listening to the prophet Fauci. So I'm gonna pause for a minute. YouTube gotta make sure our sound go back on Facebook. One moment. All right. Check that. Make sure our sound came back. So check see if the sound came back on Facebook. It's back. All right, thank you, Sister Rush. Okay. So let's read that again. Revelation 16, verse 2.
And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast.
Now we've told you guys over and over and over. Stop listening to these atheists about what to do and what not to do. We told you that the medical procedure is the pathway, is the boot camp for the mark of the beast. What is the mark of the beast? Go back to Revelation 13. Revelation 13, verse 16.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their forehead. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
Now, you say, well, the medical procedure don't have nothing to do with that. Isn't they telling people that you can't go here and you can't go there unless you do the medical procedure? And in some of the countries already right now, in Nigeria, you can't go to the bank unless you took a medical procedure. In Germany, they have grocery stores that they won't allow you to go in and buy food. You can't go here, you can't go there, you can't work in America unless you have a medical procedure. Sounds like the mark of the beast to me, but it's not. It's the pathway. It's the boot camp to train your mind that when it's time for the mark, you're going to stick that on out right again. Because this is what the hook they're going to come with in. All the terrorists, Al Qaeda, and the Taliban is stealing American money. So now we need you to take this mark. That way, you stick your arm out, We know where you took the medical procedure now. We got your banking information. We got your medical information. And we're doing it for you. You know what? That sounds about right. God, you believe it. They're coming for you. You sitting around right now looking at other people. Man, we will be done with this pandemic right now if everybody would took the medical procedure. Then why are you sick? Oh, it's called a breakthrough, you know, but it kept me from getting in the house and going to the hospital and dying from it. Yeah, I just got mine 6 months ago. Oh, guess what? Now we need you to boost it up. You don't get the booster, it's just like you don't got it no more. Oh man, I got to run out, get the booster, run out, get this. Now I can be able to go and gather on Christmas. So you done got boosted up and by new paganism. Dirty. The devil's laughing and Yasha's weeping for the moment. He's weeping now. But in a minute, let's go back to Revelation 16 and see what he's going to, Most High is going to do to you who choose the devil over him. Chapter and verse, D.
Revelation 16, verse 2.
Bring it out.
And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth.
Right?
And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
That's Babylon. That's America. Who's waving the flag. Who's still celebrating the pagan holidays. It's about to go horribly wrong for you. You're talking about a glacier, you got a whole lot more problems than global warming, my brothers and sisters. You got a whole lot more things that you need to be concerned with. You keep listening to the prophet Fauci and these devils if you want to, they're going to line you up and send you as sheep to the slaughter all the way to the lake of fire. And these wicked Christian pastors are the greatest spokesperson for them. Run as fast as you can. Telling you it's okay. Put the Christmas tree up. Take the jab. Do everything against what the Most High say. Keep breaking the law. You don't need to listen to the Bible at all. But we love Jesus. And God loves me. Verse 3.
And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea.
Upon what?
Upon the sea.
Uh-huh.
And it became as the blood of the dead man.
Uh-huh.
And every living soul died in the sea.
That's the fish. Oh, you've been hearing about that, right? That's the fish and all the things of the sea dying. Oh, they told you that was climate change, didn't it? Isn't that what they told you? No, it's the wrath. It's judgment. Why your pastors ain't going in and talking about this? They quote CDC, they ain't quoting the Bible. The centralized death center, that's what it is. Verse 4.
And the third angel poured out his vial upon the river.
Upon the rivers?
And the fountains of water, and they became blood.
Go ahead.
And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Most High, which art and was and shall be, because thou hast judged us.
Because thou hast judged us. Why he judging them? Why?
For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy.
Everything they did to us, the children of Israel, Most High is paying them back for. You thought it was going to sit back and allow these Gentiles to continue to destroy us, rapers, murderers, take our land, take our women, take our children. You thought it was going to sit back and allow it to happen? No. They're about to get everything 100-fold. Watch this. I'm going to show you this climate. Let me show you what the real climate change is. I'm going to show you what the real global warming is. Verse 8.
And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire.
To do what?
Power was given unto him to scorch men with fire.
That's the global warming, ladies and gentlemen. What is happening? What else is happening, Dick?
And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of the Most High.
He gonna do it to what? He gonna do it to who?
And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of the Most High.
Because they're gonna say God ain't got nothing to do with this. This is global warming. There is no God. And the Christian pastor said, man, God is love. He doesn't play any parts in this. This is the devil. What else?
Which have power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory.
They're not going to repent. Because the prophet Fauci keep telling you, oh yeah, we're bringing more death, get your booster. Most High saying, come back, keep my law, I got you. Who are you going to listen to? Listen to some little Edomite girl that tells you, we got to stand for climate change. How in the world are you giving a little white girl more credit than the Bible? What's this, the new LG white? Tell us this, man. What's going on? I expect the world not to believe the Bible, but my Christian brothers and sisters, you guys are very disappointed. You just want somebody to keep just holding your hand and rubbing your back. Everything's going to be okay. It's not, is it? And there's nothing inside of us that is the same. We need to change. We need to come back to the Most High. Verse 10.
And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain.
That's America. Because the more and more the system starts to fall, the more and more people are going to start looking at each other as enemy. And Israel, it's going to make it even worse. That's why they're in chaos, killing and wilding. They're going to look at us, going on with our regular lives. Everybody's good. No medical procedures. Still eating. Not caring about a mandate. Still working. No more the beast. Still buying and selling. Because now we're in the barter system. Take care of our own. And that's going to make you the enemy. That's where that walking of the dead mentality comes in. I don't like what you're doing with your resources. You're doing it right. Let me show you how to do it. That's why I say anybody that rock with that, I don't rock with you, bro. Boy, ain't no way, boy. No way. Anybody with that mentality can't go with me. Okay, straight up. Let's give him one more. Let's tell him why we ain't worried about no global warming and climate change. Go to chapter 21. Boy, ain't no way, boy. This is why we ain't worried about it. For those who living for this day, you're not concerned with it at all either. Revelation 21, verse 1.
And I saw a new heaven.
I saw what?
I saw a new heaven.
I saw a new heaven.
And a new earth.
And a new earth.
For the first heaven and the first earth will pass away.
The Most High, as he destroyed this, is gone. We ain't concerned with it. We about to get everything new. We're not worried about it. Y'all think about it, oh man, this world's about to come to the end. Yeah, we know it. We ready. Yep. Most High ain't gonna give his children this. What they done did over there in Israel, you think he's gonna allow his children to go over there with them Gentiles been doing in the land over there? You think he over there they were having gay pride parades and all kind of mess over there in Jerusalem? Nah, that stuff got to get burnt with fire. They're like, oh man, every time I see the news, they're saying, yeah, Iran is threatening to drop bombs on Jerusalem. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know. That's news to you, new news to you. But we've been read about it. That whole land about to be cleansed with fire. In America, he said, we don't need you anymore. You're done. That's my shot. Read that again.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
We're going to get a brand new Jerusalem. We're not moving on that land. People are like, man, we need to go back to Israel. You can go ahead. Hard pass. You can have it, man, Daddy. I'd rather that. I'm waiting on the new. What else, D? Verse 3.
And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their Yah.
See that? That's all we're not concerned, because we're about to get everything new. The people that are concerned with the earth being destroyed are the people that think this is all it's going to be. We got to make sure that our children are okay. You know how you do that? Keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We got to protect each other. We got to be there for each other. Wear your mask. No, keep law, statutes, and commandments. Come on. All right. Let's go. Got one more question. If we don't have any other questions live, this will be the last question for the day. This has been a great Q&A. I don't know about y'all. I really enjoyed myself. This is great. This has been good. Shout out to the Ark Filler, man. It's great questions. Great questions to put in there. I love it when we engage. And shout out to all those who submitted questions. Let me go check my chat real quick. Let me go check my message and make sure I ain't got no message sent to me. Make sure. All right. Okay. I actually did get one. Okay, I will deal with that in a minute, my sister. Sorry, I'm just not saying that. I'm glad the Spirit told me to go check on that. Go check my email, make sure somebody on YouTube haven't sent one. All right, so let me get this question right here, and then I'm gonna deal with the question that was sent to my messenger. All right, so this question says, I've been watching you along with other Hebrew Israelites teaching for some time now. And if I'm totally honest, I'm beginning to question the things I've learned over the years. And I'm beginning to wrap my head around the idea that we as Blacks are God's chosen people. But this is my issue. Why is it necessary to no longer see myself as a Christian if I can't get to heaven without faith in Christ regardless? Why must I walk away from all of my family traditions? How does it benefit me and my family by identifying as a Hebrew Israelite? Great question. It's something we get asked a lot. I'm gonna read that again. It says, I've been watching you along with other Hebrew Israelite teachings for some time now. If I'm totally honest, I'm beginning to question the things I've learned over the years. And I'm beginning to wrap my head around the idea that we as blacks are God's chosen people. But this is my issue. Why is it necessary to no longer see myself as a Christian if I can't get to heaven without faith in Christ regardless? Why must I walk away from my family traditions? How does it benefit me and my family by identifying as a Hebrew Israelite? Okay, it's a great question. Now, great questions. Number one, and I'm saying this in all respect, my brother. You don't want to no longer identify as a Christian in the same way you would no longer want to be identified as a fornicator. Okay? The same way you want to be no longer known as a liar, as a thief, as a murderer. All the things that you were doing prior to coming to the understanding of the Bible. Because, now, let me say this. Let me finish this. I'll say this. Because the religion of Christianity is not of the Bible. Just because a pastor or a preacher opens up the Bible and preaches and reads in verses, they come and get the thing on the screen. You gotta speed it up now. I gotta speed this up now. Run out of time. And Sister Rush, let me know when you can hear me. Let me know when it comes back. Back.
I don't know, that wasn't live.
I got it. Okay. All right. So the religion of Christianity is not the Bible. And just because a person opens a Bible and reads a couple of verses out of it and goes on what we call a philosophical speech, that doesn't make it being the religion of the Bible, because the religion is not based on the standard of the Bible. The religion of Christianity comes from Rome. This Bible was written by Israelites, to Israelites, for Israelites. Okay. God's chosen people are not Jewish. Jewish people are converts. Okay. So, what the religion teaches comes from Catholicism that was started in 325 AD by Constantine. It has absolutely nothing to do with what Yahshua, who the world known to be Jesus, Jesus, or the apostles were teaching. Come get this right now. Hit that red button. Is it back yet? That's absolutely nothing to do with that. Now, so that's the reason why you don't want to be identifying as a Christian, because you're not a Christian. You're an Israelite. Now, there are some people who consider themselves what they call pre-Constantine Christians. And they identify themselves as that, saying based on the Bible before Constantine and the Romans took the records and began to put their influence in them. You understand? So that was a problem. So we have to be mindful of that. Let's go to John 8, and I'm gonna need you to hold that and get Hosea 1. And like I said, I know this is a deep issue with our people because they think that, okay, I'm not black. I realize that, okay, I'm an Israelite, but I just continue on in the religion of Christianity. But the truth of the matter is, following the religion of Christianity, you're only following the religion of Christianity because you're an Israelite in captivity. Okay. When people say, you hear people say, and they think they're saying something smart and intelligent, they'll say something like, well, man, I thank God for slavery. Because if we would never been for slavery, we'd be in Africa believing one thing, we would never know who Jesus was. And I tell them, you're right. You're right. You would have never knew who white Jesus was if you came here as a slave. But that doesn't mean that you wasn't following the Most High. You stopped following the Most High when you came here as a slave. Now, there's many of our people, and we can prove it, we got the records to prove it, that stayed from the slave ship all the way up until this day, been Israelites following the Most High, keeping Sabbaths and feast days from the slave ship to this day. We got to prove that as early as the early 1900s, Baptist preachers, black Baptist preachers in North Carolina and South Carolina was preaching that we were the children of Israel. So you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that this whole idea of everybody just coming to this idea that they were Israelites in the 90s, that's not the truth. That's what they want you to think. That's the way it's been presented so that you can think this is something new, which in Christianity is what it's always been. No, Christianity is the new thing. Okay. They talking about we religious. No, Christianity is the religion. They saying we cults. No, Christianity is the cult. Christianity is paganism and wickedism to its core. And now, people, you can tell yourself what you want to. Listen, on next Saturday, while you sit around that table eating food with your families and ugly Christmas sweaters and giving out gifts, around the world, these Gentiles that taught you Christmas are sacrificing children and women to their gods. And I know it's difficult for you to accept that, and they ain't got nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you if you're lining up with anything that does not in this Bible. Straight up. You are a Christian. We were Christians because we were slaves. Prior to us being slaves, we never followed no white Jesus. My brother, Christmas itself was illegal in America until the 1830s. Even the white Christians didn't celebrate Christmas. They knew it was paganism. They were burning people in the state in Massachusetts and Salem for celebrating Saturnella. You don't understand. The things that you are holding on dear to has absolutely nothing to do with you, and everything that has everything to do with you, you are rejecting. John 8, verse 31.
And then said Yeshua to those Jews which believed on him, if you continue in my word,
then
are you my disciples indeed.
Most of the Christians are not continuing in the word. That's why even right now, those that are in this assembly here, pretty much all of us, I think all of us were once Christians, were we not? And our continuously seeking the Most High is how we found the truth. But for most Christians, you're not doing that. You're just standing there, you're just hearing this, you're hearing that, and then you say, I'm saved, I'm good. You see, you're hearing that, you're like, oh, I'm good. You're using this Bible as a life insurance policy versus a life assurance policy. So you're not continuing in it. So you never become a disciple of a Mashiach. You just become a member of a church. You're not being taught how to serve the Most High. You're being taught how to serve your pastor in the church. And this is the problem. Verse 32.
And you should know the truth.
Then if you continue in the word, you shall know the truth.
And the truth shall make you free.
And the truth will make you free. But Psalms 192 verse 142 says what? Thy law is truth. So if you've been taught that the law is done away with, you ain't got to keep it. You're not continuing it. You don't know the truth. Psalms 19 verse 7 says that the law of the Most High converts the soul. That's how the soul is converted, by keeping the law. Now, go to Hosea 1 and 10. Got to speed this up. We're running out of time. Hosea 1 and 10.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered.
This is the reason why we call ourselves minorities. Because everybody saying, I'm black, I'm a Mexican, I'm a Puerto Rican, I'm Dominican, I'm Haitian, I'm Jamaican, I'm from the Bahamas, I'm this, I'm that. And that's why they call you minorities. But when we come back together, we outnumber the sand of the sea. Now, let me say this quickly. The Bible says that the children of Israel shall outnumber the sand of the sea, that no man can number. Google this if you think I'm making it up. The number, there is a measured number of the followers of Judaism. It is 0.001% of the world population consider themselves following the religion of Judaism. I think that's a measurement, right? And everybody that are following the religion of Judaism is not considered Jewish. You have people that are, quote unquote, Jewish or following the religion of Judaism of all races and creeds. That's another free one right there. So when they bring you these little 150,000 people talking about these Jewish people, nah, bro. Nah, you can't be. You don't match the scriptures, all the prophecies. So it said we shall outnumber the sand and sea. Go ahead.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto thee, to them, you are not my people.
And that place where they said you are not my people, they said you are black, they said you're African American, they said you're African, they said you're Kemet, they said you're all of this. You're gonna say what?
There it shall be said unto them.
There shall be said unto them.
You are the sons of the living Yah.
See that? That's why you can no longer identify with that, because that's not who you are. Isaiah 1, verse 2. Shalom, how y'all doing? All right, Isaiah 1, verse 2. Thank y'all for coming. Love y'all, man. Isaiah 1, verse 2.
Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Most High has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
Right.
The ox know of his owner.
The ox know of his owner.
The donkey his master's crib. But Israel doth not know.
So the children of Israel don't know. The ox know his owner, and the donkey know his owner, but what?
Israel doth not know.
Israel do not know.
My people doth not consider.
Our people have not considered. They don't know who they are. Verse 3. Verse 4.
A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Most High. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backwards.
And this is what happened as a result of us not knowing who we are. We have gone away backwards. We become evildoers, living outside. Look at our communities. Look at the way our communities look. Look at the way we're living. And it's based on not knowing who we are, not knowing who our God is. When you know who the Yah is, when you know what this Bible requires you to do, you live right. But until you know who you are, you can never live right. Because the standard for a Christian and the standard for an Israelite don't match up. It's not the same. Huh? Let me show you how you became to call yourself black. How you became known to call yourself a Christian. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Why these things are important. Why we got to walk away from the things that we learned in these days. Watch this. Deuteronomy 28. Watch this. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy, y'all. Deuteronomy 28, verse 36.
The Most High shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
He told us that he was going to bring our kings and us into the hands of a nation that we not known. And when we was in the West and South Africa, did we know who England was? Did we know who the Spanish was? Did we know who the French was, the Belgian was? We didn't rock with them. We didn't live with them. But they brought us and took us into these lands as slaves. The Bible said that this is going to happen to us. Verse 37, and as a result, this is what happened.
Verse 36.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. It's like
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
we shall do what?
Serve other gods.
We shall serve other gods.
Wood and stone.
Wood and stone. That wood is the cross of Christianity. That stone is the Kabbalah stone of Islam. The Most High prophesied this in the Bible before the religion of Christianity even existed. Who is this talking to? Ain't talking to nobody but us. And then as a result, verse 37 says what?
And thou shalt become an astonishment.
You shall become an astonishment,
A proverb.
a proverb,
A byword.
a what?
And a byword.
Black, nigger, Latino, Hispanic. They're calling people Latinos that don't speak Latin. You're calling yourself a Hispanic, but you've never been to Spain. You calling yourself a black, and that's a color. What color your shirt is? Black. Who are you? I'm black. I'm an African. You think when you get to a certain status, you say, I'm an African American. That's the name of yourself, calling yourself two Europeans. Because Africa was renamed as after Africanus, a white man from Europe, and America was named after America Vespucci. You're calling yourself European. Byword. But rejecting who you are. Now, go to Deuteronomy 30. This is why you need to walk away from the religion of Christianity, walk away from the title of Christian, walk away from the traditions of being black, walk away from the things of America, and come back to who you are, a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. Deuteronomy 30, verse 1.
And it shall come to pass when all these things are upon thee, come upon thee, the blessing and the curse.
The blessing and the curse. So the Most High said, once I blessed you, and you walked away, and then I put the curses on you, then I said, what's going to happen to you in Deuteronomy 28? Go ahead.
Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations.
You're going to be amongst all the nations, and then you're going to start thinking about this, right? Go ahead.
Whether the Most High thy Yah has driven thee, and shall return unto the Most High thy Yah, and shall obey his voice according to all that I have commanded
So
thee.
once you come back to the Most High and start obeying him for what he done, following his voice, according to the Holy Spirit, go ahead.
I have commanded thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul. That then the Most High thy Yah will turn thy captivity and will have compassion upon thee.
He's gonna do what?
Turn thy captivity and have compassion
So
upon
then he
thee.
said he's gonna turn our captivity and begin to have compassion on us. Go ahead.
And will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Most High thy Yah has scattered thee.
He's not gonna do that if you still celebrate Christmas, my brother. He's not gonna do that if you still call yourself black, my sister. It's not until you walk away from it and come back to him when he's gonna end your captivity. He's gonna end that oppression. He's gonna end that destruction. He's gonna end all the ridicule that you're going through and bring you back to him. Huh? Watch this. Verse 4.
If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven,
Uh-huh.
from thence will the Most High thy Yah gather thee,
Right?
and from thence will he fetch thee.
He don't care where you at. He said, if you come back to me, you start keeping these laws, statutes, commandments, I'm coming for you. I will rescue you, no matter where you are. Huh? Watch this.
And the Most High thy Yah will bring thee unto the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy
He
fathers.
says he's going to do better than you than he's done for the fathers. You see what he did to Abraham. You see how he treated Isaac. You see how he loved Jacob. And he said he's going to promise to do you better than that. You don't want that? America's that important? Nah, it's not. Verse 6.
And the Most High thy Yah will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed,
Right.
to love the Most High thy Yah with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
And what are you going to do?
And the Most High thy Yah will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
He's going to do what?
Put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee, and shall return and thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Most High, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And the Most High thy Yah will make thee plenteous in every work of
He's going to make thee plenteous of every work
of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land, for good. For the Most High will again rejoice over thee for good.
He will do what?
Rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy father.
Right.
If thou hearken.
He's going to do it. No, he's going to do that. What?
If thou.
He's going to do it what?
If thou hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy Yah, to keep his commandments.
To do what?
Keep his commandments.
So the commandments are done away with.
To keep his commandments.
To keep the commandments.
And his statutes, which are written in this book of the law. And if thou turn unto the Most High thy Yah with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So this is why, my brother, you got to walk away from everything. And you got to come back to the Most High. Now, my sister, the one who sent that question in, will run out of time, so we will get to that question, I promise you, on Tuesday night. And I'll make sure I would address that then. But we got to wrap this up. We want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. We want to invite you all out next Shabbat. We're going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina with my Abadiah Yahawada and his lovely wife Regina and the whole Torah group family. We're looking to have a wonderful, wonderful time in the Most High next Shabbat. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We'll have a wonderful time in the Shabbat next Shabbat. And so make sure you come out and check us out. It's what is it, 1039 East Wendover in Greensboro, North Carolina. Hit me up if you need some information on it. I have an event page set up on Facebook. For those that's on YouTube, hit me up at thevanderingam@gmail.com, and we'll make sure you get that out, get that information. It's Tuesday night. We have a Q&A at 7:30. As always, Transformation Tuesday. Please be mindful of that. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither as it is to the hearts of men, but it's laid for those who love the Most High.
Most High. I believe you. I'll never forget the year 2020. The year you showed yourself to me. Made yourself known in the physical realm. 2020 be so close to the end. Not family, but destruction coming closer than kin. Fear ends when your faith should begin. Just believe, put your faith within him. Right now, you and him should be friends. And if you're not, what you doing, my friend? Take a second right now to repent.
I'll wait. Okay.
He gave me the flow, not for show. So I gotta speak. What I look like hiding when he manifests inside of me. Out the mud he took me, shaking with his hand.
Pottery.
To hide in the fact that I'm touching him, who I get inside of me. This is not the time not to know we live in prophecy. Now is not the time to hide your sin, this isn't prophecy. Book of Revelations, manifesting, got a lot to see. Take a new approach, try
Angles of isosceles.
not the shape.
I'm saying try different angles.
Devil trying to taint you. Meanwhile, he not stronger than your angels. When he called himself going against the hour, this is painful. His perception ain't true. Don't receive the picture that he paint you. Realize and believe in the Most High because he made you. This is not a fable. Overcome that lust because you're able. Make the stallion what? Tell the horses get back to the stable. What you think this is? We on top this season just like Basil.
Hold on.
2020 be so close to the end. Not family, but destruction coming closer than kin. Fear ends where your faith should begin. Just believe, put your faith within him. Right now, you and him should be friends. And if you're not, what you doing, my friend? Take a second right now to repent.
I'll wait. And as we always say, continue to be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding to the work of the Most High higher. We love each and every one of you. Barakatah, Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.
Are you really scared of the creation of the Most High? Whatever